Boogie, come up. Get up here. Get on camera. All right.
Hell yeah. Yeah, barbecued up some tri-tip, man. Made some tri-tip tacos. If we go to other states, they don't even know what fucking tri-tip is, bro. Oh, they got a Chiefs guy up there? What the fuck? Fuck you, fucking Kansas City. That's right. Let's go. Fucking Raider Nation all day, man. All fucking day. That's right. Raiders! Super Bowl douchebags. Oh, God. They're going to pull out the Super Bowl trophy? What a bunch of fucking douchebags, dude. Raiders! Fucking piece of shit. Has this ever happened? I mean, has any team ever pulled out their fucking Super Bowl? I mean, should we like pull out our fucking Super Bowl from trophies from fucking fuck you, fucking queefs? Why do they even have fucking these guys up here? We've just turned into a clown show, Raider Nation. Raiders! We just turned into a fucking queef clown show. Good, get those douchebags out of here. Why would anybody want to fucking see that shit? Like, I looked at it and I thought I was gonna have to shit out some blood, some fucking ketchup or something. Patrick Mahomes and his fucking mullet. Raiders! Mohawk mullet. Another bandwagon franchise fan base, just like them Patriot fans. All right, let's go.
I'm really not into dreams anymore, okay? I'm into fucking nightmares. You guys with me on that? You gotta end somebody's dream. You gotta take their job. You gotta take their heart. Are you guys clear about this NFL shit now?
Commitment to excellence. There's a commitment to excellence. The greatest players. We could get the greatest coaches. The great games we've played in. The flame that would burn brightest here is the will to win. Is the will to win. Is the will to win.
Your commitment to excellence and your will to win will endure forever. You were magnificent.
But the thing that I like this week, that was better than last week, nobody gave up, so that was huge for us.
The greatness of the Raiders.
Raiders!
Look, happy holidays, Raider Nation nationwide. Let's go. Get some.
Raiders! Raiders! Cheers, Raider Nation. What is going on? Salute. Great day in paradise. Great day in Raider Nation. Hopefully everybody's doing good. We got JT Money up in the house. 10-day bender. Salute, salute. Otis said he heard tri-tip. His ears were ringing. Yeah, that was my draft reaction video highlight I did. Thought that would be kind of funny for this intro. But yeah, shout out to you, bro. Love me some tri-tip. Rebel Raider in the house yelling Raiders. That's right. Michael 918 picking up your son from wrestling. Sweet, man. Hopefully he's doing good. Hopefully you're doing good, bro. I used to wrestle a little bit. How's it go? Salute. I pinned a kid in 4 seconds. I was a pretty good wrestler when I did wrestle when I was younger. I was middle school. Pinned a kid in 4 seconds. I probably still hold the school record for that. But yeah, D Menace, what up? All right, guys, I want to talk about some stuff. You know, kind of a little under the weather, so hopefully this Raider whiskey will get me flowing here. But so I want to do a show before probably this whatever bugs going around gets me full bore. I'm at the beginning stages of this, so forgive me if I have to pause it or whatever. My nose starts running, but all right, you know. Want to talk about a few things. Some I didn't talk about last time. You know, I'm going to move on from the McDaniel stuff for the most part, and I want to focus on this game coming up. I think this is a really important game. You know, one of the things that worried me this season, especially in the offseason, was if the regime that we currently had at the time was going to dump the team. I was really worrisome about it, especially when they didn't sign Jacobs, some other things. And, you know, I was like kind of tripped out if the Raiders were going to dump this team. However, that didn't happen. We didn't dump players. And so I think that's a huge positive for this team. Okay. if we look at kind of some of my going into the season, what I felt like was going to happen, I really felt like we were going to start out slow. I felt like there was between the quarterback and a huge turnover on the team. I just really felt like the Raiders were not going to start out strong. But I felt like about this time of the season, about halfway through the season, we should start getting everything together. There's been a lot of things evolving throughout our season that has caused mishaps, to say the least. But we do have studs on this team to go, in my opinion, make a run to finish the season really strong. And that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm looking towards, and I want to talk about in this show as well. So definitely excited we didn't dump our team like we did last year. And then, I know there's a lot of talk about momentum, keeping the hype up and expectations, or maybe not expectations, but, like essentially, a lot of people are saying Raiders' last win was because of the new coach and they are hyped up and you can't play off full emotion and stuff. But I'm going to call a little bull honky on that. And here's where I'm going to go with this, right? I was really disappointed going into the season, guys, when I felt like the Super Bowl's in Vegas. We should be at least a running contender for a playoff spot this year. And then hopefully be able to make a Super Bowl run if we just make it to the dance, meaning make it to the playoffs. I felt like the previous regime and Shills and some of the media guys were really downplaying the expectations for this year. It really, really frustrated me, to say the least. That's the nicest way I can put it, because I feel like, when you have a Super Bowl in your home, you need to do everything you can. You don't lower the expectations, you raise them. So what I'm going to say going into this game, okay, it is a must-win game. We have to beat the Jets. If we want any chance of the playoffs, this is it. This is do or die time. To keep the momentum up and to keep the hype up, if I was their coach, I would tell them, like, this is it, guys. You want a chance of the dance? You got to go out and you got to perform this game. We'll worry about the other ones later, but I would definitely put it out there that, like, hey, we're not just going to play the Jets. We're trying to make the playoffs, and we're trying to make the Super Bowl. There's enough guys on this team that will lift up, enough veterans that can lift up the other team, some of the rookies and stuff like that, to take some of the pressure off of them. But I would most definitely raise the expectations for this team. You better believe it. If I was their coach, I would put it out there. I would dangle the carrot in front of their face, saying the Super Bowl's in Vegas. What are you going to do about it? Do you want it? Go get it. Go get it done, and it's going to start Sunday night with the Jets. So cheers to the Raiders, the Raider Nation, and that's what I'm looking for. I ain't tanking for fucking Caleb Williams or Drake May. I want the playoffs, baby. And I think we can do it, guys. I really do. We got rid of the cancer. We were washed clean. It's a fresh start. Let me get in the chat real quick. Anybody I missed? A lot of this is, the state of mind, how, the will to win. We talk about just win, baby. That's just a slogan that nobody even understands anymore because we haven't won. It's about the will to win. And you have to build that momentum, build that belief. There was Brett Favre was, interviewed years ago, and I know he's had his, rough goings or however you want to look at it. But he had said that his coach instilled confidence in him to do things that at times he didn't feel confident he was going to be able to do as a player. But the fact that his leader put confidence in him, it built up his confidence to where he would go out and execute it. That's what we need. That's the kind of leadership you need. Someone that believes in you, that's going to build you up, and then you can go out there and you can conquer the world. We're talking about willpower and the will to win. So OG Raiders 805 or OG Raider 805. What up? What up? Salute to the 805 Central Coast, baby. Hell yeah. Raphael said, if you have time, can you send me a link and pull up on your stream? Yeah, let me kind of get through some things, bud. And then anybody that wants to join, we can do it at the end, EG Letarian 207. Shout out to you, man. Cuban Raider. And then we got Mark Carbone said need a 2+ turnover batter. We're going to talk about that. That's a great point. But we'll get into the defense, talk about turnovers, and I'll pull up a screen we can all kind of look at and digest. So, all right, man. So first, we're talking about this is a must-win game, guys. The Raider players, they have to understand the importance of this game. This is just not another game. It's not a gimme game. I don't care what Zach Wilson or the Jets quarterback is looking like. I care what we need to do as an organization. We got to go out and we got to beat these fools. Whether it's pretty, ugly, I don't care. We got to go out and win. They do have a great defense, and when we'll get into their defense coming up here. I want to talk about the offense first, if you guys could. bear with me and let's go through the offense first. So, all right, let's talk about Josh Jacobs, okay? One of the things that kind of stuck with me with Josh Jacobs is when he got interviewed after the win, they were talking about someone had asked him if he felt like, wore down or refreshed and all that. And Jacobs was like, oh, I'm fine. I'm good to go. I can handle that workload and that was nothing kind of thing. And it just made me think, like, we're getting to the part of the season, guys, where the weather's getting colder, right? So we're going to get into some cold weather games and, teams are depleted and their bodies are wearing down. When you hit the back end of the season, that's where usually you'll see less passing and you'll see more of the run game. And the great thing is about Jacobs is he hasn't been utilized that much, guys. As much as I want to kind of knock the old coach or whatever, they've kind of kept and reserved Josh Jacobs to where he's fresh. He should have fresh legs to have a really good second half of the season, because we're at that halfway mark right now, right? Or the little bit beyond the halfway mark to finish the season out. So I'm looking for Jacobs to have a big game, but not just a big game, but a big rest of the season. So let's pull up kind of where he's at on his stats here, guys. We'll look at it here real quick. All right, so total yards is 506. Not much at all. Not great, versus, last year and whatnot. There's certain reasons for that, the offensive line and whatnot. But let's kind of look at yards per game: 98, 61, 35, 77. And these are just rushing yards. He has had some more receiving yards this year versus other years. 69, 58, 62. Good Lord. Buffalo -2, and then Denver, this is reverse order, 48. So as you can see, he's not got much yards at all versus what he could have had some things been done differently. But that's neither here or there. We're going to focus on the positive. Then receiving, you guys can see it right there, 242. Total touchdowns, 5. He's got 5 total touchdowns. Rushing, Josh Jacobs, still no receiving touchdowns this year or any other year for the Raiders. Josh Jacobs still does not have a receiving touchdown, which is crazy to me, guys. He's only fumbled the ball once, it looks like. So that's a good stat, that he's not fumbling the ball. But you look at it and you're like, all right, well, Jacobs should definitely be refreshed, guys, and ready to rock and roll. There's also something else I want to talk about, and that was going into the season, something I was excited to see if Josh Jacobs would do it. I was a little worried with how things were going earlier in the season or whatnot. But I want to get into Raiders all-time rushing leaders, okay? So I'm going to pull up a page here. I'm going to show you guys where Josh Jacobs stands with, all-time rushing leaders right here. Might blow it up a little bit for you guys. Hold on. All right. So as you can see, Marcus Allen has the top spot with 85-45. There's no way Josh Jacobs going to catch that. Going into the season, he was, I think, right here. He was either 5th or 6th or something. I know he was below Napoleon Kaufman. I'd have to do the math, but he was like 5th or 6th or something, all-time rushing leader, or maybe 7th. But going into the season, he only needed 1,200 yards to become number 2 on Raiders all-time rushing leader list. So currently, Josh Jacobs is number 3 with Raiders all-time rushing leaders at 52-46, okay? What that means is that Josh Jacobs needs an additional 662 yards this year to become the second rushing leader all-time in Raiders history, which that's a huge, defeat. If he can get 662 rushing yards this year, then he will become the second on Raiders all-time rushing leaders, okay? It means that Josh Jacobs needs to average about 82 rushing yards per game for the next 8 games. So if Jacobs averages about 82 yards per game, he's going to become number 2 for Raiders all-time rushing leader, right behind Marcus Allen. So if he makes that happen, we can make that happen. That would be an amazing accomplishment, in my opinion. And then touchdowns, Jacobs right here is at 45. Okay. I think he's number 3. I don't know if it'll let me. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, here we go. All right. So if you look at just touchdowns, Marcus Allen 79. Good Lord. That's a lot. Then 47, Pete Bonanzac. And then Josh Jacobs 45. So Jacobs is 3rd on the list for touchdowns. He only needs 3 more touchdowns and he'll become number 2. So that's pretty cool, guys. I think we're at a point I feel like where Jacobs is definitely going to be able to excel this last half of the season to become second all-time running backs with, the touchdown record, and then also become, as the season ends, the second all-time rushing leader in Raiders history. So, I like Josh Jacobs a lot. I know there's other people out there that think we should get rid of him. You don't pay running backs. I'm not going to get into too much of that this go round. But when you look at it from that standpoint, like, he's got a chance to be like one of the all-time greats of guys that have wore the silver and black. And we've had some good running backs over time. Jacobs is right out up there with the best of the best. He can finish out the season and be second in line next, behind Marcus Allen. So I'm excited to see him like finish this season strong and do what we thought he was going to do, but I felt like between the coach and the GM not giving him a contract, I felt like they kind of took the wind out of his sails, kind of killed that morale, took that leadership, some of that drive away from Jacobs. And I think it had a big factor on the lack of production, as well as some other things, some lack of offensive line and whatnot. So point is, when we get into some other stuff, we'll show, when we look at both of our defenses, how the Jets and their defense is allowing a lot of running yards, which is important because I think we can get a good game for Josh Jacobs going into the Jet game. All right. So see what any guys are saying here real quick, and then we'll look at this defensive stuff. We'll get into the defense here. There is one thing I want to say on offense, but want to kind of see who else popped up in here real quick. Mark Cabone, salute. Yeah, Nutty Raider Nate in the house. What up, Nate Dog? Raider Nate Dog in the house. Shout out to you, bro. Hopefully doing good. Hopefully you and Raider Ben doing good. Raider all day. Salute. Cheers, guys. Cheers, man. I'm happy, guys. You got rid of the cancer. It's like, dude, it's just like, I'm positive, man. Done being negative, unless Raiders piss me off. But yeah, guys. So Raphael. Oh, here we go. Who's this? Chili Pepper 28. He said the Cinderella run begins. Facts, bro. We're going to talk a little bit about that. RNFL. What up? Who's replacing Spillane? Is Spillane ruled out? I thought he just got a cast on his hand. I haven't heard anything lately if Spillane was ruled out or something. If you know something I don't about Spillane, let me know. Because I know he broke his hand. Well, I didn't know until just, I think it was yesterday when the coach said something about it. But yeah, hopefully he's able to play. That's going to hurt us a lot if we don't have our middle linebacker. All right, so I want to finish up the offense. Let's kind of talk about something here real quick. Let's look at Aiden O'Connell. Okay, pull this one up because I do want to talk about Aiden O'Connell. Now, everybody has said that when you draft somebody, if someone because I wanted Hendon Hooker, I'll never shy away from that. But if you draft somebody 24, 25 years old, that's too old. And I'm of the mindset that's better because, if you look at Anthony Richardson, he only started for 2 years, guys. Anthony Richardson only started for 2 years and then comes in the NFL, and now he's hurt. So this is a wash year. So his next year that he starts, Anthony Richardson, that will really only be his third year being a starting quarterback between college and NFL. And that's just not good enough, guys. So my main point, I'm just going to beat home about Aiden O'Connell, or when I wanted Hendon Hooker, is if you can get a quarterback that started 3-4 years in college, they're going to be more NFL ready. You're not going to have all these bumps. You're not going to have you should not have as many bumps and bruises if you have a guy that has more time under their belt. Now, people will say, whether they're older or whatever. Dude, we just had Tom Brady who played till he was 45. So, you know what I mean? 45 is the new 25 or 25, however you want to look at it. But we got a guy we're paying less than $1 million a year. We're paying, Aiden O'Connell $500,000. And we got him on a rookie contract. We'll have him for 4 years. And we got to see what we got in him, obviously. I don't want to, beat him up too bad or be too high on a horse with this guy. But I like the fact that he has experience. When you hear Devontae Adams say hey, this guy is poised, he's not like a rookie. It's because he's so old. Now we drafted him. He was 24, Aiden O'Connell, but now he's 25. We're going to your prime years. This is what I was saying, dude, in the draft. Your prime years are ages 25, 26, all the way to 29. Your stamina and a lot of that stuff, you don't drop off till 30. So we're going to have a rookie quarterback in his prime years. And if there is a fall off, it ain't going to happen until maybe 31, 32. So if there was a fall off, that's his next contract. So we're positioned good, right? As long as we win this game, we got to win this game. If we don't win this game, some things change. And I'll talk about that another time where we'll talk about, the future of the franchise and which direction or directions we could possibly go. But for right now, I want Aiden O'Connell to do good. I think he can do good. I think he's old enough, mature enough. He went to Purdue. You got to be a pretty smart guy to go to a college like that. And I think we're going to see some things from him that I wasn't anticipating when we drafted him, because I'll be honest, I wasn't even looking at O'Connell, but after he became our quarterback, I did some research. I was like, you know what? This may not be a bad pick. So there's some things to like about him. He's not a mobile quarterback, but there is some things to like. So let's pull up his stats here real quick. They're not great as of yet, but we have a small sample size, right? Really only 2 games or whatever, depending on how you want to look at it. He came in a little bit here. Make sure you guys see that. All right. He came in a little bit here for the Chicago game. All right. So his first start was not good, right? Not good at all. He had a QBR of 7.5. That's insane. He got sacked 7 times, 6 times by Khalil Mack. So that wasn't good, guys. His total yards wasn't too bad in that Charger game, 238. 1 interception, no touchdowns that game. Then the Bears game, he got 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So this is one of my concerns when he came out of college, was that he had a high interception rate. Most people will disagree with me, but I'm of the mindset I will take the interceptions as long as you're throwing the ball downfield and taking chances. I'm willing to take some interceptions as long as you're able to come back or win the game for us. It's like you taking the good with the bad. I'm willing to accept some interception. I'd rather have some interceptions and win the game and get some touchdowns than a quarterback that's way too conservative, not willing to pull the trigger. I mean, look at how many interceptions Jimmy G has minus like 2.5 games. It's terrible. So then obviously the Giants game right here, 209 yards, completion percentage 64. So that's not great, I would say. QBR 82. It'd be nice to get his QBR up to freaking like, I don't know. I'll say be nice to get his QBR up to like maybe 90 or something like that. That just, to have 82, that's not terrible, but then you have 40 QBR and then 7.5. So he's definitely got to improve in some areas, but I still like what he brings to the table, right? I'm just being transparent, some cautionary things, right? Before I kind of give, some things I want to talk about with him and what he needs to do for us to win this game against the Jets. We'll talk about turnovers coming up too, because that is part of it. All right. So in my opinion, I'm going to focus on 2 things with the offense, right? Besides Josh Jacobs and the running game. We got to get Aiden O'Connell to throw the ball just 0.3 seconds, sooner than what he previously was. I'm not talking about a whole second. I'm not talking about half a second. I'm talking about 0.3 seconds. If Aiden O'Connell can get the ball out 0.3 seconds faster than what he was the previous games, that's going to help us to have a victorious game. So I'm focusing on very minor details for him to go out and get us a victory. And if he holds that ball too long, he's going to get sacked like he did in the Charger game, right? Just being real with you guys. And he's going to throw some interceptions. So Aiden O'Connell has to focus on getting that ball out just the quickest second faster. If he can get that ball out less than half a second faster, that's going to help us and that's going to help him. Within that, I'm going to focus on the offensive line. I felt like the offensive line stepped up. They did really good this last game, but Giants got an okay defense, but they're not the Jets. The Jets have a stellar defense. And that defensive line is no joke. So what I'm going to say is this offensive line, they didn't got to be immaculate for us to win this game, but they're going to have to hold their blocks for half a second longer. If this offensive line, if I was their coach and I told them, hey, you ain't got to be perfect. Just try to hold your block half a second longer when you're blocking, whether it's a run or a pass. If we can get half a second more out of this offensive line, and if Aiden O'Connell can throw the ball at like 0.3 of a second faster, that's going to give us the edge to go out and, move the ball downfield and score some touchdowns, right? And, we look at the Raiders offense and it's not pretty, guys. I mean, what we've accomplished this year has not been good. It really hasn't. When we let's go over to turnover. We'll kind of, I was going to do this one after. That's Max Crosby. Hold on. All right, here it is. I'm going to share this one. All right, this is total turnovers, guys. So I want to show you guys kind of what we're looking at as far as turnover differential, so we can all kind of look at it and see the importance of our turnover differential and how we're struggling in that category. All right. So this right here is team turnovers, and I'm just going to look at interceptions, fumbles, and really just the total. Okay. All right. New York Jets is down here. Where they go? Right here. They're number 12 on the list. Okay. They're not marked, but I counted it. It's number 12. Okay. The Jets are ranked at number 13. Okay. And then interceptions. Okay. They have the Jets have 8 interceptions and 5 fumbles that they've gotten. Okay. So that's pretty huge. You look at their differential, which is this stat right here. Their differential right here is 0. So they're pretty much tied because their quarterback's been throwing in interceptions. But you go down here to the Raiders, right? We have 10. So we've gotten 8 interceptions. We only got 6 interceptions last year, guys, and 2 fumbles. So 10 turnovers total, but we're -6 because all the interceptions we've thrown, guys. Our turnover differential is terrible. For us having 10 total, but -6, that means we're throwing way too many interceptions, right? And we're going against a really good defense. So the point is, I forget who it was. I'm kind of looking at this page right now, but someone had mentioned something about turnovers. We cannot go into this game and have the turnover differential where we're throwing interceptions or getting fumbles against the Jets, because the Jets will be able to capitalize off of it. Even if their offense is struggling and not great, we're going to have a situation where it could cause us the game straight up. Like, you know what I mean? So I want to take chances, but at the same time, we can't come out of this game where our stats are looking like this on the turnover differential portion. So, all right, let me remove that. See what you guys are saying. Yeah, Nutty Raider said Raiders. This ain't a gimme game, guys. This is going to be a hard-fought game, man. But I feel that way about all of our opponents we play. Raider Nation, what's up? Raider all day. Salute, brother. I said, Raider all day. Said, Hardcore, keep up the good work, bro. Stand up, Raider Nation. That's right, bro. Stand up, Raider Nation. If the Chargers can beat the Jets, so can we. Facts. But we can't overlook them, man. We got to play this game like it's our last game, guys. I hope we sweep the Queefs or at least get them 1L. I had us going 1-1 against the Chiefs going into the season. But yeah, it's all about them trenches. Yeah, the big guys, man. We need them big guys to show up and show out. All right, so let's look at their defense, guys. Let's kind of talk about the defense a little bit. Anything you guys want to say on offense or defense or anything? Essentially your keys to victory, let me know. Put it in the chat, and then we'll kind of read your comments as well. All right, so I'll pull up another page here real quick. All right, so this is the defensive rankings right here through Fox. This one, they do have the numbers. Not all of them are good sites, but anyway, so they have the Jets. Where were they at? They were like 9 or something. Oh, no, that's offensive ranks. Oh, yeah. All right. Before we move on to the full-blown defense, last thing. Geez, dude. Look at the offense right here, guys. This is terrible. Raiders are 30. When we started the season, guys, who thought the Raiders would be 30 in the NFL for offensive rank? Anybody. I mean, I'll cheers you a beer. I owe you a beer if you call it that, because I thought we were going to have top 10, top 15 offense. We spent like the 5th most in offense going into the season. But good Lord, dude, we're like, 2 places from being dead last. When you have the rushing leader, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow. Insane, guys. Insane. So point is, our offense looks like dog poo, okay? And then the Jets are right behind us at 31. Okay, so we're only averaging 275 yards a game, right? And then the Jets are averaging 272 per game. And you look at the offensive touchdowns right here, guys. That's the far right column. The Raiders have 16 touchdowns. We do have more than the Jets. The Jets only have 10. So, our touchdowns, if you look at maybe some of these other guys like the Panthers, Steelers, 14, 13, 15, our touchdowns isn't terrible, but it's still low. And our average yards per game is not good at all. So the offense, we got to get in the 300 range, guys. And this touchdown mark, we got to get up. We can't go into this game with only scoring 2 touchdowns. We have to get a minimum 3 touchdowns. In my opinion, look at the offense or the defense coming up here. If the Raiders want to win this game, we got to be able to score above 20 points, guys. We cannot keep going through week in, week out and not scoring freaking 20 points. And that's not that hard to ask. I mean, seriously, not with the weapons that we have on offense and what we should be executing with. So look at defense coming up here. All right, so we got the Jets here. I think they're 9th. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the Jets are 9th right here at the very bottom, okay? The yards they allow per game total is 312. So this is important, okay? I want to talk about this a lot, or like at least kind of digest this a little bit here. So the Jets are allowing about 312 yards per game. Remember, the Raiders offense is at 275, okay? They're allowing a crap ton of rushing yards. Their average rushing yards allowed is 137. So even though they have a good defense, they're allowing a shit ton of rushing yards, okay? And then passing yards, they're only allowing about 174, 175 passing yards per game. I'm kind of 50-50 on the direction. Like when I see this stat on running, I'm like, we need to run the shit out of the ball. But part of me is like, maybe we need to try to force the ball downfield a little bit, right? So I don't know. They have 22 sacks right here. Third down percentage, people converting on them. They're only allowing 40%, so they're really good down, pretty darn good on third downs. And then they're only averaging this. So when I was talking about the offense and how our offense needs to get going, here's the important stat right here. They're averaging about 19.5 points per game. So the Jets are averaging, allowing their opponents about 20 points per game. That's not 3 touchdowns. So this is what I'm saying. If the Raiders can get 3 touchdowns, guys, and a field goal, meaning like 21 or 24 points, I think we're going to win this game. We got to focus on getting that 24-point goal. If we let our foot off the gas, I don't think we'll win this game. We got to be able to go down and score touchdowns and not get beat in the turnovers. I know it's like kind of silly. Everybody knows you can't have negative turnover margin. But it's just the facts, guys. We cannot go there and lay a duck, or we're going to end up not pulling out with the W on this. And then they got the Raiders here. All right, so the Raiders defense is 15th right here. We are allowing teams to get about 331 yards per game, guys. And then rushing, we're allowing a lot too. Like we were kind of talking trash about how much they're rushing, their defense allowing for the rush. The Raiders are higher than them. We're allowing almost 139 yards per rushing. The Jets at Breece Hall. We're not going to be able to let the Jets come in here and run the ball all over us, or they're going to have time of possession and it could take the wind out of our sails. So that's a red flag to me, man. When I look at that's not good to say the least. Okay. Let's say rush per game. Let's see what our average is. Or we're allowing about 4.5 average rushing yards per game. Our passing game, that's pretty good. We're only allowing 192 passing yards per game. And then sacks, we have more sacks than them. We have 24. Our sacks are doing great versus years past. However, you look at how many points we're allowing per game. The Raiders are allowing 21.4 points. So like our defense needs to focus on keeping them below 20 points, and our offense needs to focus on getting above 24 points is what I would say. If we do all those things, I think the Raiders can be victorious. And then all right, last screen I'll show is just the defensive sacks. This is 2023 NFL sacks here, guys. All right, Daniel Hunter, Minnesota Vikings, outside linebacker with 10. And then Max Crosby, 9.5 right here. Myles Garrett, 9.5. TJ Watt, 9.5. Khalil Mack, 9. A lot of that thanks to the Raiders with him getting 6 sacks. Josh Allen with a 9 for the Jaguars. So Max Crosby right here is in the running for, being one of the top sack leaders in the NFL, and he does have a chance to get Defensive Player of the Year. So how many sacks do you guys think Max Crosby gets going in this game? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, and then we're going to get in the chat here. So Max Crosby, 9.5 sacks. How many sacks does he need to get this game, or how many sacks do you think he's going to get? And then offensively, what do you guys want to see offensively? And then what do you guys want to see defensively? I tried to break it all down kind of, I know I went through a lot of that quick, but just kind of wanted to get through that and then see what you guys have to say. And then I'll put up the link in the chat. If anybody wants to join, you guys give your opinion as well. So just wanted to come on here for a hot minute. Sweep the quiz. All right. So he said it's all about them trenches. Yeah. And that's what I was thinking too, man. That's why I was like, we just need half a second. If the offensive line could just block your guy, if each guy on our offensive line could block their dude for just half a second longer, I think that's going to help us, with the offense being able to produce. We can't allow Aiden O'Connell to get sacked 6-7 times, guys. That's going to destroy us, man. Alex Go, salute. He said, I like our chances against the Jets. I did too, man. They said McDaniels was supposed to be an offensive guru. I know, bro. It's very disappointing, very frustrating. You were here during the draft, and I went off, and I know not everybody agreed with me, and I'm not saying I'm the best fan or whatever. I mean, I'm just a fucking hardcore, diehard Raider fan, and it pissed me off, guys. And, I wished it would have turned out differently, but at the end of it, I'm glad he's gone. We got, we can move forward, and I think good things are coming for us, guys. I really do. He said, yeah, McDumbass gone. We good. Hell yeah. Cheers to that, man. Oh, Big Worm. Salute. Jimmy ass was horrible. Plus the coach was ass. Yeah, it was, guys. We all know it. That's right. All things Raiders Network. Salute. Raiders. Sweep the Chiefs. That'd be nice, man. All right. I'll put a link in the chat. Anything you guys want to touch on? What do you guys think it's going to take to, what do you guys think it's going to take to beat the Chiefs here, guys? Or sorry, the Jets. Someone said Chiefs in the chat and messed me up. So give me a second. If you guys want to join. I'll head on caps lock. Anybody can join if you guys want. Just try to be respectful. I'll do the same. And then, you can turn your camera off if you don't want your face to be shown. But there's the link in the chat. You click that StreamYard link, and then you can always turn off the cam if you want to give your opinion. If you guys want to talk about the coach, you can. I'm trying to move forward from it just because I feel like, I beat that drum so long in this offseason. And, I'm just excited, dude. We got rid of the cancer, and we're moving forward. And I think we're going to get some W's, guys. I think we can win this game. I really do. And, the Jets may not be the best team to beat, but all we got to do, dude, like Coach AP said, we got to stack bricks, right? We just got to stack this another win. And, to the people that are like, oh, the Raiders can't keep their momentum up. They can't keep that hype up. They can't play on all emotion. Maybe we can't play on all emotion. But football is an emotional game. Let's not get it twisted, man. These guys are going out throwing their bodies on the line. If you come out to the field and you're not fired up to bleed silver and black for this team and get some touchdowns, you shouldn't be on our team. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to see this coach get this team fired up again. Maybe you can't beat the same drum of a new coach and that's your motivation. No, we got the Super Bowl in Vegas. If that ain't enough motivation, it really pissed me off this offseason when I felt like this coaching staff downplayed the expectations for this year, guys. If the Super Bowl wasn't in Vegas, I would be a lot more patient, right? The Super Bowl is in our house. I do not want to let the Chiefs come into our house and get their 4th Super Bowl victory. They're tied with the Raiders at 3. I do not want them to come into our house and, pee on our fire hydrant. Not saying we're as good of a team as them, but at the same time, you never know. You never know. Any given Sunday, dude, I truly believe that. And when you have guys like Devontae Adams who didn't exactly agree with the direction of the coaching staff in the offseason, and Josh Jacobs, where I feel like they took the wind out of his sails and stuff, now these guys are motivated. Let's show the entire team, hey, we know the Super Bowl's in our house. Let's go fucking get it. Let's go to the playoffs. All you need is a chance. And I'm going to do everything I can to get you guys there. If we do that, if this coach can do what I'm talking about, you will motivate this team to an entire new level. And we just raised our standards and our expectations to an entirely new level. None of this more commitment to mediocrity, 3 to 5 year rebuild. We don't care if we win or lose, really. It's all, and fucking stick it up your ass. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at, guys. That's like I want the playoffs. There's no reason we should not have the expectations for playoffs. I don't care if it's a rookie quarterback or whatever it might be. Dude, this guy is older. He's more experienced. There's no reason to raise these expectations. There's no reason. The only reason to not do what I'm saying is if you have a commitment to mediocrity attitude, and I'll just leave it at that. So that's right. All things Raiders Network. That's right. All day. Raiders all day, man. Oh, he said it's Raiders Ben. It's my second channel. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Cheers to Raider Ben, man. Benther in the house. I got to get more whiskey, man, because I sipped all that shit, bro. Look, man. I know there's been a lot of negativity. I know I've been negative. I called some people out. I said my piece. I'm moving on, right? But the reality of this, man, is when you love this team, as a lot of us, I would say, do. Like, I don't mean like you might like your job, right? You might like, I don't know, going to the park, fucking deep hikes or something. You might like that, right? Most of us absolutely love this team. Like, most of us would like give a fucking arm just to see us go to the playoffs and win, let alone to fucking win a Super Bowl, right? And when you love that, when you like bleed silver and black, and you love this team this much, and you love the Raiders that much, then when the slogan is said like "just win, baby," or commitment to excellence, it should mean something more than just a few words that sounds fucking cool. It should mean that you go out and you try to do everything you can to be the best at whatever you do in life. And that shit is important to you. So let's pull up some guests. We got Raph and Raider Ben in the house. So salute and salute, man. What up, brother? Good to see you.
What's up, dude?
How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. Chilling, bro. Goody. About to fucking drink this motherfucking 10% IPA right here. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
What's good with you, dude?
I'm good. I might have to go get another, I'll at least get a beer or something here, man. I'll cheers you.
Yeah, no doubt. Fucking, every time you do your shows, you're usually late. I think you were going to do it at like 7, so I'm glad you did a little bit early and you dropped the link. I was like, fuck it, I'll pull up on Hardcore Show. I ain't been on Hardcore Show in a minute.
No, I appreciate it. I've been working a lot, man. It's been crazy. I need to come hit you up and join one of your shows too, bro. So I appreciate you coming up in here, man.
Yeah, if you want to pull up, if you got time tomorrow night, bro, pull up, because I know you don't do the whole Black Saturday shit. My birthday's on Wednesday, so we're gonna celebrate on Black. We're gonna celebrate on Black Saturday. But if you want to pull up and talk some ball tomorrow, you can do that too if you want. It's up to you if you're not busy.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. As long as I'm not like coughing and shit. Like I got hit with this bug and this customer's house I'm working at is like, I don't want you at my house, which is, you know, I get it. So, anyways, so
I just shook COVID, bro. I just had COVID.
Damn. Yeah, I think it's something not good, but we'll see how I feel tomorrow. But yeah, no, I definitely will try to, be there for that, man. But I don't know, man. You mind if I ask you a few questions since you're up in here? How long you got?
I got all day, bro. I'm good, chilling.
All right. Well, let me grab a beer. I'm gonna ask you a question. Then I'm gonna go run and grab a beer real quick.
No doubt.
Josh McDaniels, bro. You know, I know you're one of the few guys. I give you a lot of respect, man. There's a lot of guys that, you know, I kind of had a falling out against, but you're one of the guys I know kind of. I know you and me, like, we were kind of on a little bit different sides of the fence with this coach, but
yeah,
at the end of it, we both wanted the Raiders to do well, and I know it was a tough go around where we were at, and to see the Raiders struggle like this when we had high hopes for this team. But just kind of your opinion on, you know, I guess the coaching change, and kind of the positivity of what you think about the Raiders moving forward, and what kind of where you're at in this whole thing. And I'll be right back in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. So, I hate that I was wrong, because I try to tell everybody, you know, I think McDaniels can do it. I think, you know, he's done it before. You know, he's coached one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You know, I never liked the hiring of Josh McDaniels, but I supported him because he was my coach. I'm glad that he's gone. Like I said, I hate that I fucking hate that I was fucking you know, trying to ride with the dude, because it just proved to me to be a fucking idiot. But, you know, I'm glad we cut ties with him. I don't think that whole Patriot way shit fits in with the Raiders mantra, what we're about. I felt like there was a stench in that organization that was brought over with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. It's all up from here, guys. It's just fucked up, because, like, as much as I hated Derek Carr, I can't admit that Derek Carr, you know, is, you know, a starting quarterback in the NFL. And right now, the Raiders don't know if we have one of those, because we let Josh McDaniels get rid of Carr. Do we all hope AOC is going to be the guy? Yeah, we all hope Aiden O'Connell is going to be the guy, but we don't know yet. So right now, the Raiders are in a very awkward position, because not only are we rocking with an interim head coach, but we don't know who our quarterback's going to be next year, or even if we're going to have a quarterback. So that's the one downfall that, you know, I try to look at it like the Raiders traded Derek Carr for Devontae Adams, kind of in a way, to try to enlighten myself a little bit. But I'm glad, you know, the stench of the Patriots organization is no longer on the Raiders. I'm glad Mark Davis realized it early and nipped it in the bud, because McDaniels was going to slowly continue to destroy the Raiders. And, you know, I got to give Mark Davis a lot of props, guys. I hate Mark Davis. You guys know my feelings. If you follow my channel, I do not like Mark Davis. But I will give him a lot of credit for realizing that, you know, I might not know nothing about football. This might not be my cup of tea. This playoff team from 2 years ago is getting completely fucking destroyed and wiped out right now. And all the players aren't happy. The coaches aren't happy. And a move had to be made. And, you know, I don't really like mid-season firings, but if there's one motherfucker that I would like to see get fired mid-season, it was that cocksucker, dude. Josh McDaniels is probably the worst coach of all time to ever touch this Raiders organization, bro. He is horrible, bro. And I'm young. I'm only I'll be 32, so I've been a fan of this team since 2003. He's up there in the same category, and he's worse than Art Shell's second term. He's worse than Lane Kiffin. He's worse than Dennis Allen. He's worse than Norv Turner. You know, he's worse than Tom Cable. That dude is fucking bad, bro. He is a fucking cancer. Like, McDaniels is cancer, dude. That's exactly what that motherfucker is, dude. I'm just glad we cut it out, dude, before it spread.
I agree, bro. Well, I guess, like, I feel like there could be some unity in Raider Nation. You know, I kind of been to my grievances or whatever. I'm ready to move forward, but now the cancer is gone. You know, maybe we can get some unity back in Raider Nation, so that's a positive. But I feel like there is another division on the direction the team goes, like, meaning like tank for a quarterback or try to make the playoffs. I'm just curious, kind of what you're thinking is that where you're at on this team. You know, there's a lot of question marks. I agree. But do you think that we should be trying to fucking go all out to fucking try to make, you know, a run at the playoffs, you know, here?
I think the Raiders are in great position to repeat what they did 2 years ago under Rich Bisaccia. I believe when John Gruden was let go, the Raiders were like 4-5 or 5-4 or somewhere in that. Like, I'm pretty sure we had like a losing record, but we weren't losing very much. And we had to win, I think, 6 out of our last 7 to make the playoffs. The Raiders are in kind of similar territory right now, with there only being 7 games left. And I feel like if the Raiders want to make the playoffs, the Raiders have to try to find a way to go 5-2 down the stretch. I don't think it's impossible, but the Raiders do have some tough opponents. I think I don't want to count anybody out, but I think the Jets are dog shit, dude. We should be able to beat the Jets. The Raiders are the better team. Yes, I understand the Jets got a better defense. I get that. But they don't have an offense, dude. Their offense is fucking horrible, dude. So if we can score 2 touchdowns, I feel like we can beat that team. And then just let Max Crosby feast on them, because I think their starting tackle that's on fucking Max Crosby's side, he's got a fucked up hand, like a broken hand or something. So he's not going to play. So we got to beat the Jets, because then we got Miami. Now, Miami is a hit and miss team, because if you look at their record, I think they're 5-0 versus losing teams, but they're like 0-4, 0-3 against teams with winning records. So that could be a toss-up game. But the interesting point about that is I don't think the Raiders have beaten Miami since like the early 2000s in Miami. We never play well in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get over that hump. And then obviously we got Kansas City at home. We're going to have to split with Kansas City. We cannot afford to let them sweep us, because that would be our two losses, and we can't afford that, because we still got to play the Chargers. We still got to play the Broncos again. We still got to play the Vikings, and we still got to play the Colts, who have a real good defense. So I definitely think it's plausible. It's all going to come down to, will this team rally around Antonio Pierce the same way they rallied around Rich Bisaccia, Doug?
Let me kind of pause for a second. Let's see what Raph has to say, and then I have a couple other things I want to ask you if you got time.
Oh, you're good, bro. I'm feeling.
Raph, shout out to you, man. Hopefully you're doing good, bro. Thanks for tuning in and showing up. What do you think about this coaching change and kind of the direction of the Raiders, stuff like that, bro?
I mean, it feels like a fresh air right now, because it seems that the experiment between Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, it didn't work at all. It didn't work because we're just waiting for decades, like years. But I think the Raiders experiment between Josh McDaniels with Dave Ziegler and, of course, Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo, it seems that experiment, it's not working at all. Not working at all, because they had concerted play calls. They don't have the game plans to do about it. So it feels to seem damn right to see the importance that about for leader of men. And Antonio Pierce is just like a leader of men, because he understands about football between blood, sweat, and tears. And I mean, prove me wrong about it, because Antonio Pierce knows everything about what's going to happen for the game plan. And what I just saw for the press conference, he knows everything about it. We had to be aggressive, much intense, and all for these games right now, it seems that it's not going to be impossible, because if we had a great mentality, as we know about for the last game against New York Giants, it became like a clear statement. A clear statement. And right now we're going to face against New York Jets. I mean, they just struggle about the offense with Zach Wilson, as they had to prove to succeed. But if we can get more pressure against a bad Jets offensive, it could be like another long night for Zach Wilson. Because remember this, they just sacked for Las Vegas. Las Vegas just sacked 8 times. 8 times on Sunday, including 3 from Max Crosby. And this is going to be like really interesting, because it's going to be like a potential candidate for the defensive player of the year. But we got to get after Zach Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers. And they must continue to utilize the run game to the max. I mean, Pierce has been getting Josh Jacobs more involved about the defense over the past week. And he was really 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Everybody thought that Saquon Barkley could beat Josh Jacobs, but Josh Jacobs became like a beast mentality. Beast mentality. And for the quarterback, I mean, he looked great for the second start. And as we know about it, if he can run for the game and early enough this Sunday, you can expect it of a relaxed game, what he wants to go.
My bad, I hit the wrong button. Sorry, Ralph.
All right, I like it, man. All right, so Raider Ben, I want to talk about this momentum, dude. Like, I kind of have my own take on it, but I just feel like a lot of people are saying like Raiders won't be able to keep this momentum going. It was like a Jeff Saturday victory. It does concern me a little bit, but what do you think could be the next? Like, how could we elevate this team to the next level to get this motivation to continue? Other than just win, baby, and commitment to excellence. I mean, the obvious reasons, but like. When you look at this team, how can we keep this motivation going?
We gotta continue to let Josh Jacobs be the heart and soul of our offense, bro. Because without him running the football, the Raiders aren't going to win no games. I've been saying it for weeks, Doug. Like one of the main reasons why we were able to get by the Giants is because we were able to run the football. If Aiden O'Connell had to win the game on his shoulder, I would have been more worried. But he got help, dude. When you can get 100 yards rushing by one single player, that's going to help your quarterback out a lot, dude. It's going to open up the play action game, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to open up the field. And we just got to continue to put on tape that we're not afraid to throw it downfield. You know what I'm saying? Like Aiden O'Connell came out right off the rip, you feel me, in his first second start, but came out there and let it be known. Even in the game against the Chargers, he threw it deep to Trey Tucker. That's when they threw the flag and then they picked the flag up. So he continued to put on tape that we're not afraid to throw the ball downfield, because if we put that on tape, teams are going to be questioning if they want to come up and fill up the box, dude. Because Josh Jacobs, I mean, he can run against a stacked box every now and then, dude, but he can't run against a stout box every single fucking play. And that's what it was with Jimmy Garoppolo, dude. It's stout box because they not only are they going to stack the box to stop the run, but they're going to bring guys closer to the line of scrimmage because they know all your routes are going to be the short routes, the little drag routes, the little slant routes. They're just going to come up and tackle you. You know what I mean? So they can cheat up to the line of scrimmage. If we can find a way to continue to get the ball down the field, defenses won't be able to do that. And then once you do that, Josh Jacobs eats. And then once Josh Jacobs starts eating, then Davante Adams starts eating. You know, Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs should be the best 1-2 punch in the NFL. The problem is we didn't have a quarterback that can throw the ball to Davante Adams deep. Davante Adams led the NFL last year in receptions of over 20 or more yards. And I don't even think he's got more than one or two this entire season of over 20 yards with Jimmy Garoppolo. He might not have any, unless it was a catch and run. I don't remember him catching anything over 20 yards. So,
right.
Yeah, you gotta be able to get the ball down the field, bro. Just running the ball and checking the ball down to Josh Jacobs every single play. That's easy for teams to stop. That's all we were doing. It was either run the ball to Jacobs or check it down to Jacobs. Run it to Jacobs, check it to Jacobs. Run it to Jacobs. It was just fucking stupid, bro. It was boring. It was the most boring offense I've ever seen, bro, as a Raider fan, dude. And he's supposed to be an offensive guru, and we have $135 million invested in this offense. And this offense will make you want to turn the game off more than the defense. And that's embarrassing because our motherfucking defense, or the amount of money we put in our defense, dog, is like fucking minimum wage compared to how much our offense is making. And the defense is out there playing better. That's pathetic. Especially you have an offensive guru. And a minimum wage motherfucking defense is playing better than a multi-million-dollar offense. Fuck out of here, dude. It's fucking horrible, bro.
Crazy. And like, hey, I'll be honest. I thought Patrick Graham was not going to cut it, kind of deal, and he ended up. The defenses showed up and showed out. So, a couple comments in here I want to kind of get into real quick. Pizzle 420, shout out to you. Said, gotta let the defense offensive players feeding on each other. Facts, man. Anything you want to say on that?
Keep letting the offense and defensive players. The football is the ultimate team game, bro. I mean, you got to be able to trust your brother, dog. And keep letting those dudes feed off each other because the secondary feeds off the defensive line. The defensive line feasts off the secondary. You know what I'm saying? The wide receivers feast off of the fucking off of Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs feasts off them. So it's football is the ultimate team sport for a reason, bro. So I agree.
Yeah. Raph, you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And of course, one of those tests for the quarterback is feeding off for the wide receivers and the running back. And like I gotta say for everything, I mean, the defense and the offense, they always must show up. Because if we had the same mentality, the same energy as we does against for the New York Giants, I mean, it complete changed it all because it complete changed it for the energy. And right now we just facing each other for like a weak defense. Like there's there's a lot of the options that I might go for the chance right now, but I think this is gonna be like a playing with much aggression because if we need to feed a lot of things could happen like this time. I mean, this is football because we're gonna play with blood, sweat, and tears all for the field right now there's no there's no bullshit, there's no everything because there's no drama. It's all about football, and we need to play more aggressive at that time with much mentality at what's going to happen.
Well, to kind of something Raider Ben was talking about earlier, the amount of 3 and outs that the Raiders offense has had has been absolutely pathetic. If you look at time of possession, what our offense has had versus like our defense being on the field, it's been like ludicrous. So, yeah, I agree with that. Like our offense needs to be able to produce, especially on third downs, and we got to hold the time of possession of the ball a little bit longer, which means you got to get that running game going, which is kind of exactly what Raider Ben was saying. I actually forgot this one. If you guys want to ask us anything in the chat, put it in here. I don't know how long we'll be these guys will be going, but I just wanted to kind of drop this before the game starts. I'm not sure when exactly it's
starting. I figured I'd come by for like an hour or so, bro. So probably till the game starts, like 5 o'clock or something. I'll be here, maybe a little after.
Cool. All right, so shout out to OG Raider 805. He said, knowing how to use all of our weapons and a lot of them. Yeah, facts, man. I'll start out with this one, and then we'll kick it over to Raph and then Ben, kind of reverse order. So, yeah, to have a guy like Hunter Renfrow that this previous coaching staff regime gave a big contract to not utilize him. Michael Mayer, a guy you drafted, you moved up in the draft to get in the second round. Without having certain guys like that and having production from them and you like mix it around. It's not like we need to always go to Davante Adams. I feel like with the past coach, I felt like he was like, okay, we got to target Davante Adams, and then we'll try to mix it around. Like, no, dude, we need to be versatile, make the entire offense a weapon, which is what it should be. It's not like this, it shouldn't be that hard. But when you have as much talent as we have, if someone's a good offensive play caller, there's no reason why you can't spread the ball around. I know it depends on like what the defense is doing, but I'm just saying there's no reason why everybody's not getting fed. We don't need to just feed one person. I do agree we got to get Davante Adams more involved at times, but at the same time, we got to like figure out a way to utilize all of our weapons. Otherwise, we're kind of like, I feel like just a step behind the curve. Raph, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, they have a lot of explications, but they have a lot of expectations. What you say about for the Hunter Renfrow, I mean, it must be like very consistent how to go to play, and of course being consistent how to go to play. But there's going to happen. Play hard, play fast, and everything's going to be okay. Go out there, have a great time because this is football. And what did it say about Hunter Renfrow? I mean, he just returned looking at his usual self during training camp. But he came like a less and less a factor of a Las Vegas offense. But with a new head coach and offensive coordinator, he's been taking all the shots. And he's been excited to have a clean state. What is not equally like very equal to more targets, catches, or touchdowns, it does a lot to be more himself.
Well said. All right, Raider Ben, what do you think about utilizing all of our weapons, bro?
Well, I mean, if you're going to fucking trade up in the fucking second round and not take a fucking quarterback when you needed one to take a fucking tight end, you better fucking use him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're going to go out there and give Hunter Renfrow $15 million a year, which I think, or 13.5 or whatever, which I think he's extremely overpaid. I think he should have probably signed for maybe 8 or 9. You got to throw him the fucking football, dog. You know what I'm saying? When you pay these guys got to get the fucking football. When you trade up in the draft and pass up positions of need because we needed defense more than a tight end. We obviously didn't know what was going to happen with Waller, but we needed a fucking defense that needed multiple holes. We needed a fucking quarterback. There was so many positions of need. Now you're going to trade up to this motherfucker and you're not even going to throw him the ball. You're going to leave him in to fucking pass protect because Jimmy Garoppolo's fucking fragile. You know what I'm saying? And then you got fucking, like I said, Hunter Renfrow, and we all know his potential, dog. Just what was it? 4 years ago, he tied Tim Brown's record for most receptions in Raiders history in one season. Yeah. So all of a sudden he's not out there no more. Like, dude, like it was at the end of the day, dude, our offense was, like I said earlier, bro, it was run to Jacobs, check down to Jacobs. Throw it to Devontae Adams, run it to Jacobs. Throw it to Jacoby Myers, run it to Jacobs. Check it down to Jacobs. It was just the most vanilla preseason fucking offense I've ever. If there was ever a preseason offense that was ran in the regular season, that was the Raiders offense, dog. And what's pathetic is that I felt like our offense was more explosive in the preseason in terms of actually taking shots. We take no shots, dude. We took no shots all year.
I
Fucking
agree.
one shot. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want to play a 33-second clip from Hunter Renfrow. You've probably seen this in my intros or shit if you watch some of my stuff. But I want to kind of get your opinion on this because this was an interview done right before McDaniels was hired, and I felt like this has some big nuggets in there. And so I just want to play it and then hear what you think about this and kind of what he's talking about as far as scheme fit or whatever, all right?
All right, for sure.
And remember that this interview was done before McDaniels and Ziegler gave Renfrow the contract. So, all right, it's like 33 seconds.
We start off 3-0, and then we lost the next two games, and then the Gruden thing happened. Rich Bisaccia came in, was the interim coach. Everyone loved him. Everyone wanted to play so hard for him. We want everyone to be back next year. We want Rich to be back. You know, we cared about our coaches. We cared about our teammates because when a coaching change happens and a management change happens, a lot of these guys on 1-2 years deal, you don't know how the new coaches are going to like them. And so if I'm a slot receiver and they run 21 personnel a lot, it doesn't fit me. There's no place for you, or you fit a certain scheme or system.
Exactly.
So coaching definitely changes things.
So he's talking about 21 personnel, essentially. The big, like, highlighted items in that, for me at least, was when I heard that, and that's why I kind of clipped it, is before McDaniels was hired, he was talking about there being a potential issue with a new coach coming in and like what Renfrow is good at, that coach maybe not utilizing him for like his skill set, and how he was worried about scheme fit and a new coach coming in, and it may not be a good fit. And there's been talks about how maybe Renfrow don't fit in with his coaching staff, or there was some like, maybe Renfrow and McDaniels were at odd ends. So I'm just curious, like, kind of when you heard that, Raider Ben, revisiting it now, I know it's a past tense or whatever, but kind of what's your take on maybe hearing that, and then how things kind of fell into place as we got rid of McDaniels?
Well, I mean, he makes a great point, right? Because Josh McDaniels, from his time in New England, he would rather have more tight ends on the field than wide receivers. Typically, they would run more 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end type sets. And whenever the Raiders are in those kind of sets, Renfro's not going to be on the field. We have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. So that's a fact. He's spitting nothing but truth. I agree with that. And that is a true concern. If you know you're a slot receiver in the NFL and you know your game is to be a slot receiver, and you have a coach that comes in that, Josh McDaniels has a history of utilizing slot receivers, but a lot of the times they want to run that 21 personnel. They want to have 2 tight ends on the field. And if you're going to have 2 tight ends on the field, you can't really have 3 receivers unless you go 5 wide. And the Raiders don't run 5 wide. So guess what that means? That makes Hunter Renfrow the odd man out. And that's exactly what he said, dude. And that's a fact. We didn't really spread a lot of teams out. And I think that's what the Raiders should be doing for the remainder of the year. We need more 5 wide, more 4 wide. We got to stretch defenses out, dude. We have too many playmakers. You got Devontae on one side. You got Jacoby on the other side. You got Renfrow in the slot. You got one of the best catching tight ends that came out of the draft that you drafted extremely high. And you have fucking Austin Hooper who can ball. You got fucking Trey Tucker who can run like the wind. Why the fuck are we in these heavy formations letting people know that we're going to run the ball to Josh? Fuck that, dude. Spread these motherfuckers out. Make them guard every single blade of grass, because I think at the end of the day, our offense is only going to go as far as fucking our passing game can take us, because if we can't pass the ball and we're not throwing the ball down the field, Jacobs is never going to have any holes to run through, bro. Teams are just going to are going to do what they've been doing to us all year. So we got to start utilizing our weapons in the passing game. We got way too many to not, like you said earlier, we should be scoring 3 or 4 touchdowns a game with this offense, dude. There's no fucking excuse why we can't. You got too much talent. The only excuse that you can make is that Jimmy Garoppolo is shit, dude. He can't throw the ball down the field.
Broke back Jimmy, bro. Yeah, dude, I hear you.
Yeah,
you hit the nail on the head. I can't, dude. You did a mic drop. I can't even fucking say anything after that.
It's just facts, bro. It's pathetic though. It's pathetic that we're in this possession, bro. That's the fucked up part about it, dog.
Yeah.
That's what happens though when you get cancer. It leaves your body and you're fucked up. Go ahead, Rafa.
Yeah, I mean that It's been like a great latest match of the season, but I mean, they had to take advantage of it, and and I agree with you said already, Ben. I mean, Josh McDaniels is being like a cancer because they don't use those weapons when it comes to close games, and for that case of Hunter Renfrow, I mean, it probably got a fresh start with a new coach, new mentality. I mean, it's just been decided to be had to go for a deception. But it seems that they had gone for the point. If they had to go to the play right now, it seems that they had to go for it. Because he just caught like 103 passes. It could be expected to be featured upon it. But that couldn't be changed at all. Because it certainly had to go for the first meeting with the players. It had a different shot. Because he said, I'm not going to be sit there as a head to back coach because he got to be good and he get the success coordinator. But when they say that about Josh McDaniels, the experiment is not working good because it had like a breaking a relationship. But I mean, when it comes to new coach, new mentality, that's what it is to start over again. I mean, it could happen because if we just see for the Hunter Renfrow, he got the mentality for moving on. He got a mentality, and that's what I said, folks. But if it comes to experiment of the Patriot way, it doesn't work. And Hunter Renfrow needs to reboot it about for the fresh new start with a new coach, new mentality. And with Hunter Renfrow along with Josh McDaniels, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign.
Well, last thing, I'll wrap this up, then we'll move on to the next topic here. All right, so Hunter Renfrow. All right, if you look at Josh McDaniels, what they did with the Patriots, you had guys like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, and Danny Amendola. I believe Amendola is like the assistant special teams guy or wide receiver coach. But
yeah, I think he's a wide receiver coach.
Yeah, like so, but like nobody was picking Wes Welker or Danny Amendola or Julian Edelman out of the draft. Nobody was like, those guys are going to be studs. But somehow McDaniels got the best out of those guys, but he comes over the Raiders, but he can't figure it out with Hunter Renfrow. So there's definitely, I don't want to keep beating the drum on, the Hunter Renfrow thing, but there's definitely some weird stuff going on there. All right, so let's move on. But what?
Can I touch on that? Can I touch on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So who's to say that Josh McDaniels knows how to use slot wide receivers? Maybe it was Tom Brady who knew how to use slot wide receivers. Because I seen Hunter Renfrow wide open a lot this year, dude, and Jimmy Garoppolo just did not throw him the football at all. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this: what are the chances that Tom Brady was like, hey, McDaniels, you may call the play, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to do things my way, and because they're winning, or because the stature that Tom Brady had with winning Super Bowls, McDaniels really couldn't fuck with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady made the executive decision.
Exactly. No, exactly. Tom Brady was pretty much the coach, bro. The Patriots, and now that we see where the Patriots are at now, that wasn't the New England Patriots. That was the New England Tom Brady's, bro.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, dude. I think McDaniels would call plays and Tom Brady would be like, bro, fuck you. Your play don't work. I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna work. So you can't tell me shit anyways. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of obvious because I actually seen Aiden O'Connell changing plays at the line this week, and I haven't seen that all fucking year, even from Jimmy Garoppolo. But anyways, back to my point that maybe Josh, maybe it was just Jimmy Garoppolo that maybe it was lack of chemistry with Hunter Renfrow because Hunter Renfrow got targeted last year by Derek Carr. The fucked up thing is that Hunter Renfrow kept getting hurt last year.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like Josh McDaniels didn't try to get Renfrow involved. He did. It's just that because I just think there's a chemistry issue there. I think with Garoppolo and Renfrow, because fucking Renfrow. I mean Garoppolo. I felt like he was out of chemistry with a lot of people. I think the only receiver he had chemistry with was Jacoby Myers. He was out of sync with Devontae. He was out of sync with motherfucking Hunter Renfrow. And maybe Michael Mayer's lack of production wasn't just off McDaniels, but maybe Garoppolo don't have no chemistry with the tight end, so he's just not throwing him the ball. You're going to throw the ball where you're most comfortable throwing it to, and it honestly seemed like at times that Jimmy Garoppolo's security blanket was Jacoby Myers. So,
well, and a lot of that could be, like you said, chemistry, but it could also be coaching and leadership, like leading you down a certain path and not allowing you to let your wings fly to fucking do what's best for the team. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, All right, let's move on to this one real quick. Shout out to Like Show Raider got the Laker colors in the background. Shout out to you, man. He said, here's my question, guys. What if we end up 12-5, make the playoffs with this team? Do we still trade up to get one of those star QBs in the draft? It's a legit question. You know what I mean? I mean, even if we're 11-5 or 12-5, maybe we're 11-4 or 10-7. But how do you feel, Raider Ben, about the direction of this team? If at least we make the playoffs with Aiden O'Connell and this coaching staff, do you think that's enough building blocks to move forward on, or do you think we need to look towards the draft for a new QB?
Well, to kind of address the question, I feel like if the Raiders go 12-5, that means we win every single game from here on out. If Aiden O'Connell's not the starting quarterback, I don't know what we're doing, right? If Aiden O'Connell goes out there and rips off 7 straight wins and takes the Raiders to the playoffs, he deserves the starting job. And if he's the starter, he's only 25 years old. I wouldn't trade up, dude. I definitely wouldn't trade up, but I would definitely draft another quarterback because you can't have enough. And Hoyer's not going to be here next year. So we're going to need a backup quarterback. Maybe relatively high. Maybe if we're 12-5 and we have the 27th pick, maybe take a quarterback there because, there's not really a shit ton of talent. I mean, obviously there's talent at the end of the first round, but you don't really have a superstar there. So if there's a quarterback that's worth taking there, take him. But or the second or the third round, bro, I'm all for that. But no, in terms of trading up for a Caleb Williams or a Drake May, no, I'm out on that. And that's only if he wins, like you said, 12-5. If we finish 12-5, shit, if we finish 10-7, I don't think the Raiders should trade up for a quarterback. But if for whatever reason, knock on wood, the Raiders don't win any more games, or we win one more game and we got the 8th or 9th pick at the end of the year. Yes, I would trade first round picks to move up and get May or get. I don't want Caleb Williams no more after I seen him crying in the stands, Doug. I don't want him no more. But I would definitely probably try to trade up for Drake May or look at Bo Nix from Oregon. Or there's one other quarterback that's pretty good too. I can't think of his name, but he's in the Heisman running right now. Yeah, if our season goes south, trade up for a quarterback. If we have a 9-10 win season, draft a quarterback, but don't trade up for one and let him compete with Aiden.
All right, well, let me ask you this real quick. All right, let's talk about the new, because it's an important question. I didn't want to dive in, or I wasn't thinking I was going to dive into it this one because I'll probably going to do a separate show, kind of the pluses and minuses. All right, if we just look at scheme fit and the new NFL, right, with a passing quarterback, the old pocket passer will say, I would like to put the quarterbacks in two categories, but that doesn't mean that's accurate. Okay, the two categories would be the old school pocket passer or the mobile style quarterback. However, the game has evolved where I think we need 3 categories for quarterbacks, which is 1, the pocket passer, 2, the mobile quarterback, and then 3, the running style quarterback, meaning a Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields style. If you were to choose at least between those 3, if you were building Madden or the perfect Raider quarterback or whatever it might be, no matter if the Raiders finish the season well or whatever, what would be the best case scenario for you, Raider Ben, and what you would think would be the best fit and the new style NFL moving forward for the Raiders and a quarterback style that you would like if you had the choice?
Well, first and foremost, I don't think a running quarterback can win a Super Bowl. And what I mean by that is a run-first quarterback. So if you go and you look at the run-style quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls over the years, you got Patrick Mahomes, obviously. But Patrick Mahomes is a pass first. He wants to throw the ball. But what he does great is improvises and breaks down your defense. That's why I think improvision is something that's, kind of underrated as quarterback, because defenses get paid a lot of money. And when the play breaks down and, the pocket starts to crumble, you got to be able to move around and improvise. It's going to allow your receivers to get big plays because then the play breaks down. Defenders can only guard for so long, bro. So I don't think you need a running quarterback because the only ones I've seen that have been considered like running quarterbacks was Mahomes and Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson was a pass-first type quarterback too, but he was a great improviser. He would look like he was going to run. Your defense would collapse. He'd throw it over your fucking head. So if if I could pick like an archetype for a Raiders quarterback, a pocket quarterback that's accurate, that can improvise. He don't got to be Lamar Jackson. You know, he just needs to be, if I can compare him to speed, be like Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers was in his prime. Aaron Rodgers wasn't fast, but he used to get a lot of running yards because he was a great improviser, bro.
Right.
He would let the play break down, and then if you were in man, he's gone, bro. You don't have to be fast when defense is in man because their back's turned against you. You're just going to run and have as many yards until somebody turns around. So, yeah, great pocket passer that has great pocket presence, an improviser, and accurate, bro. I think those are the three biggest things, in my opinion, dude. Accuracy, pocket presence, and the ability to improvise. If the play breaks down, which happens so much in today's NFL with all these pass rushers and these high paid corners, plays are going to break down, dude. You got to make something out of nothing. The reason why Kansas City looks so good when they win Super Bowls is because some of the times Patrick Mahomes is making beef stew out of dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he's improvising. So.
Well, and he does awkward, like unconventional throws where he just like pitches it. And it's like, dude, like that's not going to work. And then it somehow works. He's like the luckiest fucking dude alive, but
extremely talented, bro. I hate to say that, but Mahomes is extremely talented. He's a rare athlete, dude.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that he plays for our division, dog. That's the
thing. I think it's his baseball skills. I think some of that is like his baseball background, to be honest with you, bro. Like when he does
was in the MLB, bro, a pitcher, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, so some of those weird throws is like his baseball background, but yeah, no, I completely agree. You know what I mean? I will say Peyton Manning, you know, was not a mobile real quarterback, but he did footwork like crazy just to have fast feet. And if you ever watch Peyton Manning, like, yeah, he would plant his feet when he would throw, but Peyton Manning would do drills just to get his feet to be like always moving. You know what I mean? So if you don't have a mobile quarterback, if you're going to go the pocket passer route, you at least have to have a quarterback that's not going to have lead feet or cinder blocks as feet. They got to be able to at least move their feet fast or whatever. And so, yeah. All right. So, Raph, anything you want to say on that about 12-5, looking for a quarterback or the different styles of quarterback before we move on to the next deal here?
I mean, if the Raiders had to start with, it had to finish with 12-5. I don't think we're gonna have it for the quarterback. It might even have to go for the search, searching for the defense. But if the Raiders had to go to finish, I don't know, with 10-7 or 9-8, I mean, we should have it to go for the search of the quarterback. But I don't think it has to go for the safe option between Caleb Williams or Drake May. I mean, I was watching for the college football film studies, and I don't think it's going to be like the reason if Caleb Williams or Drake May is going to be like a good fit as a quarterback, because we need to the state of the search. How is it going to be like the difference between a backup quarterback? I mean, it could happen like this one, because if we look at the precision, at the speed, and of course the involvement of the defense of the quarterback, it should be possible. But I think it's not gonna be possible if you're gonna trade Caleb Williams or Drake May, because it's not gonna be possible. Because if we want to see like a much talent of the college football, I mean, we just have to figure it out. Because, for example, if we're gonna start with if we finish with 12-5, I mean, the best thing option have to go for it is searching about what area we have to go to improve about for all the defense. If we had to see for for wide receiver or the linebacker, it means like at all different positions that we need to get filled in. But at the position of the quarterback, I mean, it's very difficult. Like I said, we don't want to see like at a draft at Caleb Williams, because after that performance, or Drake May, I mean, if we had to look at about the difference about the quarterback and the mobile, that could be different.
All right, like it. Southside Raider in the house. Southside. He said, apologies, I'm late to the party.
Yes.
Don't apologize for shit, brother. Thanks for tuning in. David, salute. All right, Rebel Raider's got a good question coming up here, guys. So shout out to Rebel Raider. He said, if you guys want to, we're going to wrap it up here shortly, but if you guys want to ask anything else, put in the chat, and we'll kind of try to do our best answering it. It said, What are you gonna do about Devontae Adams' contract next year when it bumps up to like $40 million? We have to restructure it, right? All right, so it's a good question because it's something I've been thinking about for a while. Let me share the screen with you guys, and we'll kind of look at it here real quick. So give me a quick second. All right, so Devontae Adams, the biggest hit as far as Devontae Adams' contract is going to come up in 2025, guys. So this is the biggest red flag, or I don't know how I want to word it, but this is the biggest thing to me when I looked at Devontae Adams and what the game or what the plan was long term for this coaching staff and how I felt that Devontae Adams didn't fit into their game plan. Okay. His contract, the big jump is actually in 2025. So next year, right now we're in 2023, it's at like 14.7 million. And then next year, 2024 jumps up to 25 mil, it looks like. And then 2025 is the big one, 44 mil. Now I'll kind of go first here, just kind of give my take. The only way this contract works out in 2025, that's the big one I'm going to look at, is if we have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract deal. Right now, Aiden O'Connell is making about $500,000 per year. He's not making like jack shit compared to what some of these quarterbacks are making. If you look at it, and this is something that I'm going to do depending on if we win this game or not, I think we will, but the direction of the Raiders and the future of the franchise, and you look at the direction, we got it. Like if you go to a veteran quarterback route, that contract's probably going to have to be restructured because you got 2025, 2026, where it's a lot of money, 44 mil for those 2 years. If we have a rookie contract, quarterback, then yeah, I feel like we can, maintain that salary. Some people are saying Devontae Adams is too old, age 31, and we should look at trading him. I'll be honest, I'm not in that camp. That this dude is a Raider. He's one of the best in the NFL. Anybody know? I'm going to ask you guys a question. Anybody know how long Tim Brown played for the Raiders for? And how long did Jerry Rice play for? I'll tell you right now, Jerry Rice played until he was, I think, 42. I'm not saying those were great years, but then Tim Brown played until he was 38. So we had a Super Bowl run and a playoff run with guys that were old, very old for their positions. Not saying they were great at those ages, but they were at least still able to produce somewhat and get us to a Super Bowl with both of them. So when I look at this and I evaluate this and Devontae Adams being 31, I think we still got it. We could possibly still get a good 4 or 5 years out of Devontae Adams. And yes, we probably should restructure his contract, backload it if we feel we have the quarterback of the future to get us on a playoff / Super Bowl run. And I'll kind of leave it at that. And I'll hop over to Raider Ben talking about Devontae Adams, the future of the Raiders. And if you have any insight, what you think the Raiders should do with Devontae Adams as of right now, subject to change.
No, so I agree. I definitely think.
I'll be right back.
I definitely think it's all going to come down to who the quarterback is for the Raiders when that cap number goes up for Devontae. When you pay players a lot of money that aren't your quarterback, the only teams that do that are teams that don't have high-paid quarterbacks. So if the Raiders want to go out there and pay, a defensive end like Max Crosby, $100 million or wherever they paid him, and then give Devontae Adams $100 million or wherever they paid him, right? You can't afford to just throw around those contracts if you have a quarterback that's making $250 million or whatever the going rate is for quarterbacks nowadays. So in my opinion, it's going to come down to who's going to be our quarterback as the years continue to go on. I think Aiden O'Connell can come out and show some people that, he can be the future if the Raiders decide to go that route. But then at the same snitch, I also agree with you for the fact that, Tim Brown played forever and so did Jerry Rice. And you want to know two things that those guys had in common. Neither one of them was really fast. You know what I mean? They were great route runners. They knew what to do when the ball was in their hands. And they were great yak guys, yards after catch guys.
Right.
And a player like Devontae with his skill set, it's very similar to Jerry Rice and Tim Brown in terms of he's more of just a route runner, dude. He's so good at getting off the line of scrimmage. He's such a good route runner. He's unguardable regardless of how fast he is. So I don't fall into the whole narrative of that receivers become trash as they get older or players become trash as they get older. In my opinion, the only kind of players that that their careers decline when they get older are fast players, because that's just natural. You're going to get slow as you get old. You know what I mean? So like a player like Tyreek Hill isn't going to be playing as long as Devontae, at least at a high level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Those guys, in my opinion, I Devontae, like you said, dude, I think he's going to play until he's about 35, 36. And I think he'll be extremely productive, dude, like Larry Fitzgerald was all the way into his end of his career with Arizona. And Larry Fitzgerald was another one of those guys. You want to know why his career lasted so long? He wasn't fucking fast. He just knew how to beat people off the line of scrimmage. He was a great route runner that could get open against man coverage. And if you're that kind of receiver, your career is going to last an extremely long time. I mean, if you were to ask me like who's going to last longer, A.J. Brown or Tyreek Hill, that are in the same age group, if I'm not mistaken, Tyreek Hill may be a little bit older, but A.J. Brown's going to have a longer career because A.J. Brown's a great route runner. He can beat his coverage. He knows when to settle in the zone. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows everything. It's all about how smart you are. The smart football players, dude, they're going to go forever, bro. You don't really see speed receivers, playing past their, in their prime, past like 32, 33. I mean, who have we seen? Maybe Steve Smith. Those guys, dude, they lose a step. And when your game is built around speed and less around the fundamentals of the game and being able to run a route, your career dies when you get old. So I think Devontae Adams still got a long career ahead of him, dude. I still think he's got it, like you said, bro, a good 4 or 5 more years where he's going to be extremely productive.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. With the previous regime, I was really worried they would trade Devontae Adams. That's one of the reasons. Oh, Al's Ghost in the house. I don't know how long you've been here, bro. I'm sorry, Al's Ghost. Salute to Al's Ghost.
What's up, fellas? Just want to pull up and say what's up. What's up, Benther? What's up, Raph?
What's up, Ghost?
What's up, Hardcore?
Boy.
Ain't heard from you in a minute, but glad you joined, man. Hopefully you're doing good. Been thinking about you, man. I know I wasn't always positive in the past, but we're moving on to bigger, brighter things. So it's all love, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Curious on your opinions, anything we've been talking about, and then if you want to touch on whether it's stuff we've talked about or any of your own opinions on the Jets or stuff coming up here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think Benther, I think, said it best earlier. Super excited about this regime. I think we have a real Raider at the helm now. And as I was reflecting over the past like 7-8 days or however long it's been since McDaniels got the boot, the guy just didn't fit. Sometimes things don't work out, and they don't work out for the best. Even though I wasn't the biggest McDaniels fan, I was actually pretty critical and highly critical of him as his tenure with the Raiders progressed. I was rooting for the guy to succeed. At the end of the day, I'm a Raider fan, and I wanted the guy to succeed. Same situation with Jimmy Garoppolo. I wasn't necessarily, putting on the pom-poms and cheering on Jimmy when we signed him, but I was hoping that the guy would succeed as a Raider. But these are experiments that I think Mark Davis tried out. They didn't succeed. And now you just keep on moving forward, pushing forward. And now we have a guy who I think knows how to lead, is a natural born leader, and has these guys playing very, very motivated. The kind of effort that I saw in the Giants game was like very promising. And part of me actually watching that game made me kind of angry in the sense that Bears game was very winnable, Right. And there were a couple of other games earlier on in the season that I think if we had an Antonio Pierce at the helm, we actually could have won, and we could have been sitting at like a 6-3 record or something like that. Right. And we could have been, in a better position to make that push in November, in December for the playoffs. But be it as it may, as Parcells says, you are what your record says you are. I think we're still like in a prime position to make a push. This Jets game, I think it's going to be tough. The Jets are an interesting team because they're elite on defense and then they suck on offense, right? Because they don't really have a quarterback. So I don't think we put up 30 against that Jets defense, but if we could put up 20, and if our defense could be opportunistic and pick off Zach Wilson, because that's one thing that I do know. Zach Wilson throws picks. He can be careless with the football. And I think that defensive line that we have right now is generating a lot of pressure. Right. I like our chances. And if we could get to 500 and then, somehow beat the Dolphins or the Kansas City Chiefs, ideally both, then I think we're in prime position to try to make a playoff push. But yeah, super excited about the regime. I mean, this guy, Antonio Pierce, he's a Raider through and through from Compton, riding in that 6'4" Impala. Like, you can't, I mean, could you imagine McDaniels riding in a 6'4" Impala, dude? Come on. Right? Like, let's be real, dude. So it's,
Hey,
I'm
my
excited.
question about the coach, real quick. My question was Coach McDaniels going to learn what it meant to be a Raider the entire time? And either he did disappoint if I wanted him to fail, or he did disappoint, meaning I wanted him to succeed, depending on which side of the fence someone may have been on. But nevertheless, I mean, you're right, man. I mean, I've always felt, bro, is like you got to be a certain kind of coach to be a Raiders coach, right? And what better guy to come in and take the reins than a guy that's yelling out Raiders, right? I don't want to yell in your guys' ears. I want to, but I won't, right? You know, but like, you know, we've never had a coach, guys, that like seriously, like it wasn't just like he said it for clicks, you know, or to look cool, but like you could tell, like when he got, even before he went to the locker room and yelled Raiders to our players and stuff, and they yelled it back at him, he was getting interviewed by a Fox reporter and he yelled Raiders, and you could tell at the end she kept asking him stuff. He's like, I just want to go enjoy this with my team, you know, like she didn't get it. And like, you know, but like to have a coach that just yells Raiders, he's like, that's all I wanted was right there. It was just to yell Raiders. Like he straight up told her, he said, that's all I wanted after he yelled Raiders in her fucking ear. And I'm just like, dude, finally we got a coach that gets it, man. He gets what it means to be a Raider. And even if you don't understand all the X's and O's, just to have a motivational guy that's going to get these players to fucking hyped up and to bleed silver and black. Like, this is like, dude, like my heart is so warmed. I did not expect this Antonio Pierce. I'll be honest. I knew he was a fiery coach, being a linebacker coach, but I didn't know he bled silver and black this way. And I don't think he's just doing it to look cool or shit like that, guys. I think he really loves this fucking team, and he would do whatever it took for this team. I mean, David Carr said that he got a touchdown and spiked the ball when he was on the Giants, and Antonio Pierce was like, don't fucking spike the ball and do that shit to my team, meaning the Raiders. So he's like claiming Raiders even when he was wearing blue for the Giants, making a Super Bowl run and whatnot. But I don't know. Anything you want to say on that, Raider Ben, what Al's Ghost was saying, and to this coach and Compton, NWA, a true Raider at the helm?
I mean, I tend to think that everything happens for a reason, right?
Right.
So maybe the firing of Josh McDaniels was like a blessing. You know what I mean? Because they could have chose other guys over Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce has no coaching experience in terms of being a coach besides when he came to the Raiders. He was an assistant for the Giants. He wasn't a coach. He came to the Raiders, got his first actual coaching gig to coach linebackers for the Raiders. And he moved that organization so much and that locker room so much that they bypassed the likes of guys who have been coaching in the NFL at a high level for years. They bypassed Patrick Graham. They bypassed Rob Ryan.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They bypassed Carmen Brasillo. And they brought in the dude that's only been on the team this year, dude. And it's just like that says something, bro. That means the players must have told Mark something about Antonio, bro. Like his personality must just be contagious, dog. Like Max Crosby said it, like he was meant to be a Raider, bro, because like motherfuckers don't like him. You feel me?
Right?
We need players and coaches like that, bro, because it's like I've said before, dude, it's tough to be a Raider fan, but it's tough to be a Raider, dude, because every team can say they get fucked by refs and get fucked by the league. I see other teams get fucked by the league, and it's nothing close to how we get fucked by the league, bro. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that kind of shit's going to happen when you come to the Raiders, and you just got to find a way to overcome it, dog, because we're going to get fucking flagged out the ass. Okay, we're going to get flagged out the ass. We're going to get bullshit. But at the end of the day, we just got to continue to punch back. And if there's one thing that I think Antonio Pierce brings to this team is he he brought back the fight mentality. Like, okay, yeah, you can punch us, but we're gonna punch you right fucking back. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? We're gonna punch 10 times harder than you punch. You know, and that's the Raiders' mystique, dog.
Right, yeah. Well, that Raider mentality. What does it mean to be a Raider? And then us versus against the world, man. That, I mean, like, I was a Raider fan. Like, I was born into this because my dad was from SoCal, Southern California, and he was a Raider fan. But like, I really grew into it when like I learned the history of the me against the world mentality. It's like a bunch of misfits, dude, that like don't fit in anywhere else. Kind of like what Max Crosby was saying. We come over to the Raiders and like, yeah, we're kind of fucked up. We're not like right in the head kind of thing. But we fit in this unfunctional family, and that unfunction actually makes us functional to make this beautiful thing called the fucking Raiders and the silver and black. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna go watch the game, get ready to have some dinner. Hardcore, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Al's Ghost, always a pleasure to be on. Hey, Al's Ghost, man, you gotta get on the podcast sometime, motherfucker. Hit me up on IG or something. I've been trying to get you on for the longest, but I don't know if you have any social medias.
I'm just a ghost, dude. I'm just like somewhere. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. But yeah, dude, we gotta link up, dude. I really, you come out with fire content, dude, and it's always awesome, hearing your takes and all that. But yeah, we gotta link up for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to go live I'm gonna try to go live with Raider Ben tomorrow. Raider Ben, before you leave, make sure you tell everybody where they can find you, what time you're going live, and about your YouTube channel, bro, if they have never heard of you.
All right, so I'm Raider Ben. You can just find me on YouTube under Raider Ben. That's my #1 channel. I also have a backup channel that's called All Things Raiders Network, but you'll have to look up Demon Time Benther to find it. I put content on both channels. But yeah, man, Raider Ben, Demon Time Benther. All you gotta do is go to my Raider Ben channel. You'll see all my links to my backup channels. I've been fucking with Hardcore for a minute. Hardcore was, me and him did a podcast, like the first ever podcast I did was with Hardcore and Critique and Grimy Dave. And we've been doing this shit a lot longer than some of these motherfucking dudes that try to claim that they're the head of this shit, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna get into that, but you know what time it is. Hardcore, Ghost, Rafa. You guys have a great night, chat. It's always a pleasure, man. I'll catch you guys tomorrow night.
What time you going live tomorrow night, real quick again?
So tomorrow night we'll be live on the Raider Ben channel, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. We'll be live.
So make sure you guys tune in Raider Ben tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm gonna try to hop over there. I'm gonna chop it up. Sure, it'll be a great show as always, bro. Much love.
Always a great show.
Thanks for
All right,
coming
guys.
in here.
No doubt. Much love, guys. Enjoy the game tonight too, even though it's gonna be a fucking snooze fest.
Much love, Enter. Much respect.
Love. Thanks, Raider Ben. Make sure you guys subscribe to his YouTube channel. Appreciate him hopping in here. Al's Ghost, what were you wanting to say there? Sorry about that. I think you got cut off.
Oh no worries, Hardcore. I was actually gonna say, what's really telling to me, what's like very interesting is you heard about like that Thursday meeting that they had with the team before the Detroit game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was essentially like they got in the auditorium. McDaniels asked the players to air out their grievances, and apparently they tore into them, right?
Right. Yeah.
And to me, actually, what was very telling reading those reports is that McDaniels didn't respond to those complaints, but he asked Antonio Pierce to speak on behalf of the coaching staff. So to me, that already indicates even McDaniels knew who had the ear of the players. Because if he's the head coach, why is he acquiescing or asking Antonio Pierce to go ahead and respond to the grievances? So that's number one. That's the number one aspect that stood out to me from reading those reports. And then the second thing is, how the hell does McDaniels have the nerve? Accordingly, it was reported after those grievances were aired out, Antonio Pierce talked about bringing the team together, making sure that everybody believes in each other. And he brought up the 2007 Super Bowl in which the Giants beat the Patriots. And apparently McDaniels pulls Antonio Pierce to the side and tells him, don't talk about the Patriots that way. Did he forget who he was coaching, dude? Did he forget who he was coaching? That's very, very problematic in my mind. Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I agree. Let me this is a 15-second video. I want to see what you have to say about this. Hold on.
First question from a fan, a PSL holder. The tuck rule play. Yep.
Was it a fumble? And keep up the great work, Coach.
No question. It was a fumble. Does that have to say anything else?
That's it. He's got the Raider gear on.
So I want to answer your question, but I want to hear what you have to say about that. What do you think when that happened? And looking back, what do you think about that now?
It does not sound convincing at all, dude. Yeah, it does not sound convincing at all. Like he's looking down like at the ground. His body language is very awkward. Whenever someone's lying, their body language like kind of tenses up and they're not able to look at people in the eye. So he has like the classic indicators of someone who's straight up lying.
Yeah. Sad but true, bro. I don't even know if I need to say anything else, but I just think at the end of it, man, I mean, it sucks, bro. I mean, from the contract to it didn't work out to him supposed to be an offensive guru, you know, there's definitely a lot of stuff that like is very frustrating that I was frustrated with in the offseason. I know a lot of people, I tuned people out, and I apologize for that to some degree. But at the same time, if we have somebody in our organization that's not a Raider and never going to be a Raider, that's a snake in the grass, that's not what's best for us to win a Super Bowl. I can't sit here and like not call it out, guys. I just want everybody to know that whether you like me, dislike me, or whatever it might be, I'm cool with that. But you know, when I saw that was probably the first thing for me personally, where I was like, whoa, what? Like, cause I like when I first saw that video, I rewound that thing probably 5, maybe 10 times, guys. And it hurt me. You know, I'm not over the Tuck game. I'll never be over the Tuck game because it's part of our history. It's part of our organization. It's part of something that I feel like a Super Bowl was stolen from us. So when I felt like he was disingenuous on that, it did upset me. But at the same time, I was not going to let that one thing be the deal breaker. It was a lot of other things that added up to me to be a point to where I had a lot more questions than answers that fired me up and pissed me off about this coach and what he was going to do to our team that had made the playoffs. So, but you know, the way I look at it is like this, guys. People make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I've fucked up, you know, more times than I'd like to admit. But it's how you learn from your mistakes and you move forward, right? And I feel like Mark Davis hopefully learned from his mistakes, and moving forward, we correct the things we need to, and we can make a better beginning and a better future. You know, Al Davis used to say the greatness of the Raiders is in the future. I believe the greatness of the Raiders is actually right now. It can be in the future, but I believe the greatness is right now. And a lot of people, you know, I have kind of a crazy take on Mark Davis because I have been questionable of him at times. But a lot of people think that Mark Davis needs to like have less of a role in the Raiders and whatnot. And there could be some truth to that. I'll admit there could be some truth to that. But I actually think that Mark Davis needs to take a stronger role in the Raiders. If we look at kind of the events that have happened since, say, since the Hugh Jackson firing, which is when Al Davis died, and stepping up to the plate with Reggie McKenzie, sorry. And then John Gruden, Jack Del Rio, then John Gruden, and kind of where we're at now, and the event of how everything has spiraled, right? I look at this team, and I look at Mark Davis, and he had his plate full with the move from Oakland to Vegas. He wasn't able to probably concentrate on the team. And he did say at one point when Reggie McKenzie was hired that he doesn't know enough about football, but he's going to hire guys to get the job done, essentially. And he may not know enough about football to be like a Jerry Jones, where his hand is in everybody's pocket and, you know, kind of thing. But I think Mark Davis has had enough time right now at this point to take a bigger leadership role in this team. And I'm not saying he needs to be drafting guys and stuff, but he should at least be able to be out of position to question. And I'm not saying he doesn't, because we don't know. I don't know. But at least question the general manager. Hey, why do you like that draft pick? Why do you like that guy in the free agency? What can he do for our team short-term and long-term? He should at least be cognizant of a point as an owner for this organization to ask them questions, to at least get the people that he hired, their brains thinking, and then he understands what their process is. So what I'm going to say is this, and I want to hear what Alex Ghost has to say in the RAF and probably wrap up here about the role that Mark Davis has had, and if it should be more of a role or less of a role. I'm a firm believer that he's probably had enough time in this position to maybe learn more than he did in years past. And I would actually like for him to take a higher role, like meaning a higher role of accountability, and hold the people that he hired to a higher level of accountability. And that means more meetings, more asking questions, a higher level of management, to get this team turned around. So eventually we can win a championship. But any thoughts on Mark Davis and kind of some of the stuff I said right there, Al's Ghost?
Yeah, hardcore. I think what ended up happening is Mark Davis got entranced. He got enamored with the idea of bringing the Patriot way out here to Vegas. And he thought that he could replicate that out here in Las Vegas. And I think he realized that he couldn't, because he hired effectively two guys who didn't know how to do their job. And I could probably dig into Ziegler and also add the various mistakes that he made, because he's definitely one who I think made several mistakes during his tenure as a general manager. But then you have a guy like McDaniels who ultimately didn't know how to lead. And most problematically, or just as problematically, he was known as an offensive guru. And our offense this year couldn't put up more than like 16 or 17 points. I think the only way, or the only time that we were able to exceed 20 points was that safety by Max Crosby against the Patriots. So those aren't even offensive points at that point. But I think he got intrigued by replicating the Patriot way. It ended up not working out, and I think he's going to learn from that, and I think he's going to give Antonio Pierce a fair shot at becoming the head coach. And with that, I actually want to say, Antonio Pierce only has one game under his belt. I think we should be, cautiously optimistic about his potential as a head coach. I think he definitely has head coaching material. But we have to see like more of a sample size, right? And I think with these upcoming, 7, 8 games that are remaining on the schedule, I think that's going to give us a lot of insight into how he is as a head coach. And I don't wish that the Raiders ever lose, right? But a good byproduct of the Raiders losing is actually finding out how your leadership reacts. So when shit hits the fan later on this season, maybe it's in the Jets game when we're down, I want to see how he reacts. I want to see how he adjusts. I want to see how, in the event of a loss, how he's able to rally the team back together, because I think that's where, you're really going to see whether or not he has the chops to be not just the interim head coach, but the permanent head coach. Because everything is, when you're winning and when you're dominating a team and you're up, 24, 26 points, everything is sunshine and rainbows. But, when you're in the trenches and things are rough, I think that's when your true colors show. And hopefully, hopefully he shows that he's the same guy, that he's the same motivator, that he's the same leader, and that he's able to rally the troops. But yeah, super excited about this regime, and hopefully Mark learns that. And this is the thing, right? It's not just Mark learning this, but I think the rest of the league are pretty much done with this whole Patriot way experiment. Like, you look at the whole Bill Belichick coaching tree. I was reading an article on The Athletic. The only guy who's really above 500 is Bill O'Brien. Like, he's really like the only guy. And if you want to count Mike Vrabel,
Vrabel was a player though, not a coach.
Yeah, and he was a player. Yeah.
Right.
But you really only have like Bill O'Brien, and the rest of these guys have been pretty much like absolute failures. You talk about like Matt Patricia, Mangini, obviously McDaniels, and you just like go down the list. All of these guys, whatever Kool-Aid they're drinking out there in New England, like that shit does not replicate elsewhere. It's like really bizarre, actually.
Well, I think a lot of it is the leadership style. Because all right, if we look at it from a standpoint of why did Belichick's coaching style work previously, and then why is it not working now? You know what I mean? Like, because I think that's important. So, what do you know what the roots are of Bill Belichick and his coaching style, going back to his dad?
Yeah, it's like that whole like militaristic style, right?
Right. Yeah. So I'm former Army, right? So like I get it, I understand it, and it works for some people, right? You know, so if you go back to the Navy, that's kind of where Bill Belichick got his coaching experience, and his dad and stuff like that. And that worked once upon a time, but we're in a new era, and that is kind of like more of a square peg in a round hole style of leadership. And I grew up that way. Like I can take that style of leadership, but it doesn't mean that's the best style of leadership for the modern era we live in. And it kind of pains me to say that, because I know there's some issues, I'd say, with some of the change of culture, but nevertheless, you have to adapt to the modern times. And the modern times needs more of a players coach style leader to lead an organization and a franchise. If you look at Hugh Jackson years ago, Hugh Jackson was a players coach. He asked Darren McFadden, what kind of plays do you like to run? And then he executed it. And Darren McFadden had his best year as a player. So it's always, in my opinion, it's always as a leader, what can you do to adjust your style to get the best out of the team? If that's something as simple as asking questions, you know, like this coaching regime just did, about like what kind of plays do players like to run and stuff like that, that embodies those players to get motivated and then have a higher accountability for executing the task at hand. So when I look at it from the leadership standpoint, whoever the Raiders coach is going to be, I think it has to be somebody that understands a lot of these different elements, especially when you like kind of break it down to think about the style of leadership. You know what I mean? And that's the ultimate reason why I think the leadership failed. But yeah, anything you want to say on that?
No, I think that's a great point, Hardcore, and something that I've been saying on some of the other lives. And by the way, I gotta head out and run an errand, but I'll take your comments off air. But one thing that I was actually thinking about was a lot of that coaching style, which I'll call like the old school military style coaching, that kind of stuff just doesn't fly anymore with like the younger generation. Like we had to take a step back and realize a lot of these players were born in like 2000, 2001, right. 2002. Like it's just like a different era, right? Right. And so like I just think that like a lot of these players who just grew up in a different context, this kind of military style coaching, getting cussed out, getting, you know, belittled in front of the team, that just doesn't fly anymore, I think. And I think more and more players are clamoring for, you know, that players coach that's just going to like motivate them and, you know, obviously coach them up and point out the mistakes. But I think players thrive on getting motivated, because it's got to be like a pretty crappy feeling to walk into a building knowing that you're just going to get chewed out every day. And that seems like the culture that McDaniels was implementing. Right. It was just like a culture of, hey, these players are walking in, you know, super, I think, anxious, and I think very much on guard, because they knew like every day was just like getting chewed out left and right. And I think there's only so much that certain players could take. And ultimately it led to like a very unhappy locker room. And that's one of the things that kept on coming up, or has kept on coming up over the past like 8 days or so since they made the coaching change. Like these players keep on talking about how much fun it is now, right? They have a basketball hoop in the locker room. They're wrestling, they're playing games, they're playing music. Like it's making it fun for them to come to work. And ultimately, like obviously work isn't about like 100% fun. It's not a party. But you have to have some of that in order to like succeed and excel in your workplace. And I think Antonio Pierce is bringing that. Like he's making it serious when they're on the practice field and they're doing their drills and all that. But the locker room is their sanctuary to like, you know, mess around, have fun, and just sort of let their hair down a little bit. And I don't think they were able to do that with McDaniels and that regime. But but with that, let me take your comments off air, Hardcore. Sorry, I don't mean to.
One last quick thing I just want to say before you get off here. I'll make it quick.
Go for it.
Dude. All right. One of the great late great Raiders was John Madden, and he had said something talking about how, you know, these players are like artists and you can't take away their artistic abilities, and you got to let them kind of be their themselves to get the best out of those artists. And, you know, essentially at the end of the day, play like hell when I tell you. So I'm just,
Yeah.
What you just said kind of reminded me of something even going back, shoot, what was that? Probably the 70s. So
Right.
like 40, 50 years, that we had a coach that understood it back then about bringing out the best artistic abilities of players, even when times were a lot different than now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a great point, Hardcore. And you look at those teams that Madden had, which, Madden retired with the highest win percentage in NFL history.
Right.
Like that goes to show, right? Like you could allow your players to be themselves, have fun, and you could still win football games. Like I've read stories about how Stabler and the rest of those guys would be like smoking cigars and drinking beers after the games. Like I mean, as long as you get your job done and execute on the field, I don't necessarily care too much about, what you do in your off time or when you're off the field. And actually, to that point, real quick, Hardcore, I think that's a reason why Hunter Renfrow wasn't getting much playing time, because Hunter Renfrow is a very creative route runner. He
Right.
runs routes his way. And ultimately, I think John Gruden let him run the routes the way that he wanted, because at the end of the day, he was getting open. And I think with a guy like Josh McDaniels, who's very much, I think, rigid and militaristic, he wanted him to run routes a certain way. And I don't think Hunter was comfortable with that. And I think that's why Hunter was getting benched. And I think that's why he was hardly getting any snaps. And I think, there's probably truth to last year, the rumors about how Derek Carr had very little room to like audible and change the play and all of that. He was apparently required to, call the play that Josh called in the headset. And
Yep.
ultimately, like players are on the field and they're looking at, how's the defense lining up? What are they keying into? How can we, cause damage by doing this play instead of that one? And I think, McDaniels, his rigidity was also part of his undoing.
I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. I'll let you get out of here. I'm going to play a little Renfrow clip. So if you want to listen to this, it's about 1 minute long, and then we'll get Raph in here, and then we'll close it out. But appreciate y'all's Ghost, man. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it a lot, brother. Been a long time since I got to chat up with you, but I love you, bro, and I appreciate a lot for coming in here. And you got a great football mind, as well as everybody. A lot of people in the chat. So thanks for coming up in here, and take care, brother. We'll see you again.
For sure, Hardcore. Really appreciate it. See you, Raph. Take care.
Have a good one, Al Ghost.
All right, so this video I'm going to show right here, salute Al's Ghost. We're going to show Hunter Renfrow before McDaniels was hired, about a month before McDaniels was hired, talking about running routes his way. So it just kind of shows the kind of freelancer he wanted to do things. So listen closely, because I think this is he dropped some bombshell nuggets here, guys.
We played in London my rookie year, the 5th game of the year. I had won the starting job, but I really wasn't playing well. I think I had like 6 or 7 targets. We were playing the Chicago Bears, 6 or 7 targets in like 1 catch. At Clemson, like if you threw to me, I wanted to catch the ball. I remember going back home that bye week thinking like, all right, this ain't working. I'm going to have to do it, my way. I know Coach Gruden wants me to run it like this. I know, they want me to run it like this, but, I'm going to be out of the league in about 5 games if I keep doing it like that. I'm terrible. And so I thought, let me just, I didn't want to look back and regret and say, oh, I was trying to please them so much and do it this certain way. And obviously, there were parameters, and I didn't want to, go against what they're saying too much. But I remember going home that bye week and taking some time off and just thinking, I'm not going to regret this. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it my way to an extent. Obviously, there's a coaching balance. I'm going to respect what they say. I'm going to do about how they say it, but I'm going to just put some tweaks here and there. That was kind of my moment where I kind of woke up and started playing some good football.
All right, so just again, real quick, that was a Hunter Renfrow interview done before McDaniels was hired and before the contract was given. Essentially, he laid it all out in the line, saying, yeah, I'm going to run their routes, but I'm going to be a freelancer, and I'm going to do things a little bit to what adjusts to my style to get the best out of me. And so if you're a leader and you have a guy like that, and you know that that's what's best for him to get the best version of Hunter Renfrow, and you can't adjust your style to get the best out of Hunter Renfrow, there's no reason to give – if you're going to do what we were talking about, the military style, like my way or the highway, there was no reason for them to ever give Hunter Renfrow a contract. And I like Hunter Renfrow, so I'm not saying we shouldn't have Hunter Renfrow on my team. What I'm saying is if they're going to do the military style, my way or the highway, they should have never gave Hunter Renfrow the contract is my main point. or they should have been willing to adjust their style to get the best out of Hunter Renfrow. So hopefully this coaching staff can do that. I feel like if they can adjust to what Hunter Renfrow just said about he's going to do it about how they say it, but he's going to throw a little bit of twist in there, maybe a couple more jukes or whatever it might be, then you need to be willing to adjust your style to where he can get open so you get the best out of Hunter Renfrow. Otherwise, there's no reason to give him the contract or for him to be on the team. So that was something that was very frustrating to me, which is why I did that video, have that video clip, because if you know those things and you don't include Hunter Renfrow in those things and you don't know what he's wanting to do, then why do you have him on the team? There's absolutely no reason. So the previous coaching staff did not adjust their style to get the best out of Hunter Renfrow. Hopefully this staff does differently. I think they will, but we'll see moving forward because Hunter Renfrow is a good player. The third and Renfrow happened because of what he just said. He was going to do the play about how they said it, but he was going to throw a few twists and curveballs in there. So that being said, Raph, man, anything you want to talk about with Hunter Renfrow or anything else Ghost said? I know you've been patient, so I apologize, but wrapping up here, and I'm going to close out here shortly. So,
yeah, about for the Hunter Renfrow, I mean, it could be like a more like dysfunctional right now because before Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler came in, now he was very like a very confident wide receiver because he know about the pieces are the comfortable like at arms to getting building about for the right receiver. But during for the regime of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, there was like a sort of disconnection, and that's why they didn't take it to use it as a weapon because they had sort of limited reasons to put it in on the field. And that's what it is with the feel of disconnection of Hunter Renfrow with the new regime of Josh McDaniels. But like I said, between the new coach and the new regime right now with Antonio Pierce, it feels like a fresh air because I mean that Hunter Renfrow, it feels like very trapped, very like stuck in it because nobody has the idea to put it in, and it really seems like the coach of the Josh McDaniels and say, "Hey, I promised it out to the coach for a bit." It never came in. It never came in to use it as a weapon. But it seems like the Hunter Renfrow, he's getting a lot of attention for the as a wide receiver, had a great performance. But I think that the biggest mistake it happens for the Hunter Renfrow's career is getting how did it go for the Josh McDaniels because it feels like a very disconnection. And it seemed like it had to go for the biggest of outrage everybody is. So, yeah.
Right on, brother. Well said. All Eyes on G had a good comment here. He said, even Grubin spoke upon that. He said he had to adjust his style to match the players of today. You can't treat players like that anymore. Facts, bro. You have to adjust to the modern era. The best leaders, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The best leaders adjust their style to get the best out of their team. And it's a humbling process. I like 10 plus years of management, run a small business. It's tough to kind of maybe tone yourself down or figure out how you need to adjust to get the best out of your team. But I'll just tell you, the best leaders in the world can adjust their style to get the best out of the team. And those that don't, they will struggle. And eventually they probably won't be a leader no more because they can't adjust to what's best for the team. And that's what I felt like we were struggling with the past regime is they could not adjust their coaching style to get the best out of the team, which is why I personally feel like we've seen, like when someone mentioned earlier, to get all of our weapons involved, I forget who it was, I apologize, but to get all of our weapons involved and to utilize all those weapons, I think that comes with a lack of leadership or the best leadership to humble themselves to get the best out of the team. And so if this regime can keep adjusting to get the best out of the team, we'll get a good product on the field on Sundays. We'll be happier because we'll get more wins and we'll have a happier team. And within that, I think that's kind of going back to what I said about, John Madden talking about, how these players are like artists and how you have to let these artists be artists and be themselves and don't take away their artistic abilities, So I think that's important. But I think we'll wrap it up with that. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody that's subscribed. I know I had a big video last video I did, so I appreciate everybody that watched that. Raph, let everybody know where they can find you. I wasn't able to pull up channel, so I apologize, but I know you got your own thing going on. So
Okay.
I can find you, bro.
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube as Rafael Chessin, as No Es El Capitán Rafucho. And of course, here's one more thing about it. I just hit 800 subscribers, and I just bring back my podcast of Civil and Black Experience. And I have some close episodes with West Coast Pirates, also Real Man Raiders. Also, I had an episode with Mr. Fitz 7104. And I was really excited to bring it back, the Raiders culture about for that podcast, because we talked about everything about for the Raiders, no filter, no VS, no drama, just Raiders. And of course, not only my channel is dedicated for Raiders, but also it is dedicated for awesome sports like basketball, combat sports like UFC, mixed martial arts, also for the reactions of music. I mean, my channel is very varied, but also includes for all the Raiders stuffs. And of course, over the last episode, it incremented all with the views right now, but you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram as @Capitan Rafucho, also my YouTube channel, Rafael Chassin. And of course, the latest episode that I got from the it increased a lot, but thank you very much, a Hardcore Raider. And of course, I will see you there next time. And I will get you on my podcast over to the next weeks, because we're talking about everything about for the Raiders. There's no filter, there's no BS, there's no drama, just only Raiders. And like Al Davis says, just win, baby. And much love and respect for you, Hardcore Raiders. So salute to everybody else. And I just wanted to say one more thing about it. We're going to win against the Jets, of course, for the Dolphins. But against for the Kansas City Chiefs, I smell a revenge. I smell a payback, because for all these Chiefs fans, I know it's going to be like a PG-13, but for all those Chiefs fans all over here, including Jefe, there's one thing, there's another thing. Raider Nation for life. So have a good one, folks. Salute to you. And of course, no matter we win or lose, Raider Nation till I die. Good night.
Much love, man. Appreciate you. You've grown a lot in your Raider fandom, so I appreciate you, man. Really proud of you, and thanks for tuning in here. I think we're gonna end it. Should we end it with how we started this thing? I labeled this video the FU Kansas City. So appreciate you guys. I'm Hardcore Raider. There's only one nation. That's the Raider Nation. I'll put this 1 minute outro going out about the Kansas City draft, and I was a little fired up in that, but it's all good. And let's go Raiders, man. We're gonna get this dub, and bright things ahead for the future. So appreciate you guys. Later. Hell yeah. Yeah, barbecued up some tri-tip, man. Made some tri-tip tacos. If we go to other states, they don't even know what fucking tri-tip is, bro. Oh, they got a Chiefs guy up there? What the fuck? Fuck you, fucking Kansas City. That's right. Let's go. Fucking Raider Nation all day, man. All fucking day. That's right. Raiders! Super Bowl douchebags. Oh, God. They're going to pull out the Super Bowl trophy? What a bunch of fucking douchebags, dude. Raiders! Fucking piece of shit. Has this ever happened? I mean, has any team ever pulled out their fucking Super Bowl? I mean, should we like pull out our fucking Super Bowl from trophies from fucking fuck you, fucking queefs? Why do they even have fucking these guys up here? We've just turned into a clown show, Raider Nation. Raiders! We just turned into a fucking queef clown show. Good, get those douchebags out of here. Why would anybody want to fucking see that shit? Like, I looked at it and I thought I was going to have to shit out some blood, some fucking ketchup or something. Patrick Mahomes and his fucking mullet. Raiders! Mohawk mullet. Another bandwagon franchise fan base. Just like them Patriot fans. All right, let's go. Raiders!